Welcome to a new era of wrestling podcasts, where the hot takes, fantasy booking, nostalgic trips, and everything that happens in your day-to-day life always comes back to the squared circle. It's the Everything is Pro Wrestling podcast with Mike DeSilva, Josh Flanagan, and Nick Flanagan.
And we are finally back. Long overdue. About a month now, I think it feels like, right? It's got to be about a
give or
4
take.
weeks.
Yeah, give or take.
Give or
It's been a
take.
bit. I'm trying to think what the last PLE
Was it after Elimination Chamber?
Yeah,
Maybe?
Yeah, right.
I feel like I remember talking about the Cena heel turn.
Oh well, we did just look like we didn't look at the date, but
Yeah, the date. We'll pull it up. I'll pull it up on the tube real quick.
yeah, a month. So
A month
let's see,
ago.
it's gonna be give or take.
So it was
March
March
15th.
15th.
Yeah.
Yeah, so about
So yeah,
a little
5
over a
weeks.
month.
5 weeks.
Damn, the boys were on a hiatus yet. You know, it's busy being a dad. You know, it's a busy damn life. You know, a lot of life changes, but we're quick little reset. There's some plans, hopefully, for the future coming up to make things even better and easier, and life will be grand, and there will be plenty of pro wrestling to talk about because
No shortage of that.
That is a fact.
past month has been, you know, here's what's interesting about the past month though. And this is episode 40, by the way.
Episode 40.
40.
This is 40.
The big
This is
4-0.
40, as they say.
Yeah.
We are officially over the hill.
We
40
are
the
Paul,
new-
we are Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd. And,
Is 40 the new 50?
40's the new 50.
30's
Oh.
the new 20. Is
We're going the opposite direction.
that's what I feel.
All the
I feel
I-
preserves.
we're getting older here.
I feel that too.
Everything
sadly.
hurts a little more today than
Yeah.
it did 5 weeks ago.
They're getting rid of Red 40, and all of a sudden we're going the opposite
that's
direction.
true. That happened
Yeah.
today, didn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
today.
Skittles are not going to look the same
Yeah.
ever again.
It's wild. Like they showed a bowl of Fruit Loops and they were like, "Imagine this, like opaque." And I was like,
just
no,
Cheerios.
No,
It's just gonna be Cheerios.
It's
I'm
just
like,
Cheerios.
I'm like, it's like buying Captain Crunch, getting just the crunch, no berries. Like just
Right.
the whatever that's called, but no
Wasn't-
berries. Because
wasn't
all
that
berries
Captain
is
Crunch?
still
Oops.
a thing.
Oops berries, right?
Berries, all berries is the thing, but
No,
they also
right.
do the all non-berries, which I'm like,
I didn't.
fuck
I
wants
didn't
that?
think Captain Crunch had berries. I thought it was just the Crunch.
No, they do.
No.
Well,
Captain Crunch.
Well, they have Crunch
colorful berries.
berry.
Well, yes, Captain Crunch berries, right? But
Is
like
that
as a
what-
kid.
okay. But I know they sell
I was
Captain Crunch. Like anytime, if you buy just Captain Crunch,
Oh, yeah,
it's
it's
just
just-
the
yeah,
Crunch.
yeah.
It's just
That's
the
what was
crunch.
But
throwing
like,
me
who's
off.
buying that?
I would buy that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm a big fan. Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
buying all berries.
I don't think you understand how much sugar is in that other one.
Oh,
though.
100%.
So
I do.
like you get that sugar high.
Oh.
Yeah.
Even
These
without
all
the berries,
berries.
you get that
Yeah.
sugar high, and you're like, fuck yeah.
I'll take it.
Fuck
I'm
yeah.
never too old
For like a
bowl of
minute and a
Captain
half,
Crunch.
and then you crash hard.
Yeah, I've never like if you're gonna tell me I need to eat healthy cereal, I'm just not gonna
Yeah,
eat
I'm
cereal.
not gonna eat cereal.
Just
Exactly.
fuck cereal.
'Cause
I'll
what is
throw
it?
a cereal
Yeah,
right into the street.
Well,
Kellogg.
I will eat Honey Nut Cheerios. Those are fucking
Yeah, I
delicious.
guess
Are they
that's
healthy?
technically good for your
Are
heart.
those the healthiest? Yeah,
I
heart
mean,
health
for
sure.
good healthy.
I
That's
will eat-
about
I
as
will.
healthy
the honey
as I'll
nut
go.
Cheerios, regular
But yeah,
Cheerios,
that's
though.
the healthiest. Yo, no, fuck regular Cheerios. It's gotta be. I
regular-
still
it's
need
gotta
a
be-
bit of sugar,
yeah.
man.
Yeah, if you give me regular Cheerios, I just assume sure, I'll go out in my garage for the little styrofoam kernels from my packaging.
Yeah,
when my
that's all it
package came
is.
in.
Right.
I'll
And
eat a
now
bowl
that
of
there's
that.
no color anymore, that's what it's gonna look like.
Apple Jacks, nobody's
Look,
gonna know.
If you give me regular Cheerios, I will answer the question of who pissed in your Cheerios.
Yes.
It will be me.
It'll be
I'll
me.
piss in
I'll
those
piss my own
Cheerios.
My own
Cheerios.
Cheerios.
Like, fuck that. I don't want
And
regular
now it's
Cheerios.
sterile.
And
Yeah,
then eat them in
that's
spite
right.
of you. I'm gonna eat my own piss Cheerios in spite of your dumbass for giving
Yeah,
me
no,
without
I need
the honey nut.
honey and a nut.
Yeah.
That's what I.
Damn right.
That's what I
That's-
need with
gotta
my
have
cereal.
the nut.
Honey and a nut with
Honey
my
and a
cereal,
nut,
please.
absolutely.
Please do not forget the nut.
Shout out to women.
Shout out to
It's
women.
been a
Shout
while.
out to women. Yeah, it's been shout out to women at WrestleMania.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which, you know, we'll go through WrestleMania quick. I know it's
get
been it's been a lot. It's happened since we last spoke.
Can I actually ask you guys a question? This is completely nothing wrestling related, but I feel like it's been on my mind for a while, and I definitely feel like the two of you will be able to be way more rational about it than I've been so far.
Okay.
For, I think, understandable reasons. But now that the Celtics have been, I mean, not officially, but they've essentially officially been sold, am I insane for thinking my Sonics will be back in 3 seasons?
I mean, people want it to happen.
I think it's gonna happen.
I think people want
But I
basketball.
mean, like, is 3 years too soon?
Well,
Am I
that's
being
what I was gonna say.
unrealistic
That's
at
what I was
3
gonna say. I
years?
was gonna say maybe 3's a little early. Maybe 5.
All
But
right.
I honestly believe within the next 2 franchises, it'll be Seattle.
Yeah,
Like, I think
yeah,
Vegas is probably the first
Right.
one. Right?
Yeah, Vegas and then Seattle.
But then after Vegas, how can you justify anything else
Exactly.
other than Seattle? And obviously, as sports fans, like, give me Seattle for all the right reasons.
And, like-
but Vegas will win. But
And like I'm obviously very biased because they were my team for many
Yeah.
years, but like Seattle should come before Vegas.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like,
'Cause there's an
just,
establishment
if you're
there.
talking just sports, obviously business, we know.
Right.
But like sports wise, like those fans are still there.
Right.
Like I'm convinced they still sit outside of Key Arena every day
Oh, I bet they do.
and just waiting.
There's literally a NBA championship that the league can't fully recognize because that team doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
Like
Yeah.
the
That is
Thunder
true.
can't claim that because that was part of the whole
Yeah.
agreement that they can't claim any of the
No, should they?
Sonic
That's
spastic
fuck
combo.
outta
Yeah,
here.
I mean,
No,
we-
I absolutely
Fuck.
shouldn't.
if
outta
you
here.
completely change your image, it's like
Yeah.
the
Right.
Hurricanes claiming anything the Hartford Whalers did.
Right.
Exactly.
It's
It's
like,
one
Which-
thing if you're the Hornets and you're
Right.
like the Charlotte Hornets, and then you go to New Orleans, and then it's like the New Orleans Hornets can, I think, claim what Charlotte did as Hornets.
think so.
They
Right,
do,
because
and
it's
now
the same. But then I
Charlotte-
think now they shouldn't be able to since they're not the New Orleans Hornets anymore.
They don't anymore. So now
Yes,
Charlotte, but
exactly.
Charlotte claims, I think, the New Orleans timeline. So whatever
Okay.
they did as the New Orleans Hornets, I think counts as the
I
Charlotte
think that's
Hornets
fair.
back.
I think that's grandfathered
I
in,
think
and
the
now it's the New
Pelicans
Orleans
are just
Pelicans start from
once-
scratch.
Yeah, I think
Listen,
they technically
I think
started
that's
from
fair.
scratch.
You said
Is
this
this
isn't
Steiner
wrestling
math?
related.
This is Steiner math.
I mean, yeah.
Steiner
I
math,
didn't.
but also like
should-
title lineage.
I guess
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
fair.
Anybody,
I
like-
should have said I didn't intend for it to be wrestling related. I didn't know we were going to get to this point.
Like
but
I've been reading a lot of. I don't know if you guys seen this. It's not like super. It's been kind of existing since the whole Cena thing had began. The 17 title since way
fact that
back
Ric
when.
Flair actually technically has, like, 30 world titles.
Like, the Ric Flair like lineage
Yeah.
and which world titles do they count
yeah.
towards
Who
his
recognizes
16
it?
and
What
and like times that
company?
he lost it but didn't actually like. There's
Yeah.
I think a show where he goes to Puerto Rico and he drops it because he's like, if I don't
He had
lose
to.
this
He wasn't
going
gonna
to
make it out.
Literally
Yeah,
going
he
to be
literally
a riot
wouldn't make it
here.
out alive.
But they
Alive.
don't recognize that because like that was never the plan.
Yeah, I remember this story. I feel like
Yeah.
that was on a dark side or something. Where
think-
like
yeah,
I mean,
or I
it might have been
think-
Carlos Colon. He dropped it to or something of those
could've
sorts.
been.
But they literally were like, "You will not make it out of here. They will like stab you to death on the way."
Yeah.
out."
I remember ESPN did an E60 on Ric Flair, and I think it was
might have
in
been that. Yeah, I remember hearing that story like
Yeah.
from him.
Yeah,
Being like
exactly,
I wasn't
yeah.
gonna make it out.
Yeah.
They told me you're not gonna make it out.
yeah, it's lineage in
Yeah.
and
Right.
tracking things and what belongs to what. Oklahoma City Thunder can't claim anything the Sonics did. Ric Flair can't claim anything in the NWA. Is that what
But
it
like
is?
they
Yeah.
weirdly, so they can and they can't. So like.
What fits the narrative?
So like
Yeah,
I don't know if this
exactly.
is the actual thing, but it's just a player I know of. So like let's say hypothetically Gary Payton was the all-time assist leader for the Sonics.
Yeah.
He would technically be the all-time assist leaders for the Thunder. But the
Okay.
Thunder aren't champions. The Thunder can't retire his number. Only the Sonics can do that. But like his stats carry over type of thing.
Okay.
But the Thunder have said hopefully when, not if, when the Sonics come back, they're going to give all their stats
So
back
it's
to
kind of
them.
like
As
what
they
they've done
should,
with the
yeah.
Negro Leagues for
exactly.
like
Yeah.
all the baseball
What
like
they just
records.
did recently.
They just
Right.
like
They
last
just
year. I
did
think it
last
was.
year, so
Yeah.
yeah.
But like obviously they're not tied into any MLB franchises,
Exactly.
so it's not like. But as far as like major like professional baseball in the United States, like
Right.
all the Negro League statistics transferred over.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's hard because like if you talk to anyone who was around back then, they'd be like, "Yeah, Josh Gibson has like over 1,000 home runs."
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
yeah,
but like
yeah.
the MLB, there's no way they're ever going
No,
to credit
hell
him
no.
as the all-time home run. It's just not. And like, it's bad
Satchel
enough the guy who
Paige
really
and-
is, they don't
Right,
even credit
exactly.
him. So like, yeah, it's just not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I play MLB The Show. I see it just say San Francisco
Yes.
Giants.
Yeah, I know. Sad. The show. I mean, there's rumors. It's not going to happen. Rumors about Bonds being added to the show on Friday. It's not going to happen. It's not. Never going to happen.
No.
Yeah, hell. Might, well, I was gonna say hell has to freeze.
It won't
over
happen until
with
they
climate
finally put
change.
him in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm him,
Which-
I wouldn't let it happen either.
No,
Yeah.
at this point,
Well,
Yeah.
they're
it's-
going to pay you.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
but
mean, they'd have
he's
to technically pay for his likeness.
Bonds is about his coins, but I think the only thing he's more about than his coins is his pettiness. So
Yeah.
100% true.
So-
if I'm him, I'd be like,
But
nah.
if they're offering bank,
Yeah.
why would you say no to that?
Because also, like, what would be cooler than you go up and you're at your Hall of Fame induction, you're just like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck
Right.
you,
Yeah.
hey, fuck you. Like, what movie was that? The Chappelle.
You're
How-
cool.
Was it not How High, but Half Baked?
Half Baked, yeah.
Like literally
You're cool,
that
fuck
to
you.
everybody in the
Yeah.
crowd, and then drop the mic and walk off. Come on,
Yeah.
that's a very.
Who would you
Bonds thing
call
to
cool
do.
in the crowd? Jeff Kent, even though they beefed.
Oh no, he hates Jeff Kent.
Yeah.
Dusty Baker.
Dusty
He's like,
Baker?
he's like the only guy
It's-
who's still good.
No, it'd be his son.
Yes, yes.
He'd be like, you're cool.
who is
Fuck
in
Yeah.
the, who was in the majors now?
Right.
Fucking
Yeah.
not plot twist, but goddamn, we're old. Now
Yeah,
in the
now we're
majors,
getting old.
I was gonna say JT is his no, but JT Snow saved him. I forget his name, but
JT Snow. What a
Yeah.
name. That's a name.
what a player, man. He
Yeah.
was so smooth. Love the way he
JT
played the
Snow.
game.
Was he a catcher?
No, he was kind of a bit of a utility guy. Played first base mostly, I think. Little outfield. Little
Oh, I'm thinking of AJ Przinsky.
AJ
Yeah.
Przinsky, another
AJ
going
Przinsky,
Minnesota
yeah.
Twins legend. I think both wore 16.
Yeah, I know
I wanna
Brzezinski.
say.
Was Brzezinski 17 in Chicago? I don't remember what number he wore when
Was
they won
6?
the
You
World
thinking
Series.
of Joe
I wanna
Mauer?
say- No,
No,
I
Maurer
can't
was
forget. I can't
9,
forget the
wasn't he?
Florida State legend Joe Maurer. Did you guys know Joe Maurer, 5-star quarterback out of high school, signed with Florida State to be their quarterback?
Really?
Then never went.
He made a pretty good career
Yeah,
for
he's the
himself.
right
I'd
choice.
say he
Him
did.
and Justin
I'd
Morneau.
say he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they could never
That
make
dude
it out
could
of the
rake,
first round.
man. Morneau could rake. No, they couldn't. They'd
Both of
always
them.
get there because that division was trash.
Yeah.
man. But they couldn't get
Yeah,
it
they
out.
won a division like 10
Yeah.
years in a row, and
I mean,
they
That
lost.
reminds me of the old Minnesota Metrodome, man.
Oh, my
Such
God,
a beautiful.
beauty.
Nothing better than like triple play baseball home run derby there, and just how high up can I get it into
Yep.
the bleachers?
Kirby Puckett looking ass.
Oh,
yeah.
The glass
Yeah.
in the
Another
outfield. And
underrated legend. Kirby
Yeah.
does not get enough credit.
fuck glaucoma.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm super into. I'm big into baseball right now. Obviously, been grinding the
Yeah.
show. Sox are having a decent start. I know you guys are Yankees fans, but you know I think they
Yanks are having
lost
a
today.
decent start.
They're all right.
I'm not gonna lie. First couple days, I'm like, hey now.
Yeah.
And then they've leveled out just a bit.
Yeah,
but,
it's a long season.
You know,
I
baseball.
also think like they were playing Milwaukee.
Yeah,
Like,
yes, yeah.
There's a reason
Yeah.
they were doing what they were doing. Like, let's be
torpedo
real.
bats are still new.
Right.
They didn't know how
Yeah.
to pitch around the torpedoes.
Red Sox and Yankees don't play for a while.
Yeah.
No.
They don't play for.
I want to say like June. I
Yeah.
think June is the first series. Yeah.
and then they probably.
Then they're gonna play
In
like
the
so
three
much
times
in
to the
June,
point where
like,
like
3
maybe we
series in
should have
June.
spaced this
I
out.
know.
Yeah.
I feel like they do that often.
Yeah.
And it's just like, give me one the first month of the year to like really get the juices flowing. Give me a couple, and when it's just dead summer, when it's like, okay, this is really something to look forward
then
to. And then give
September.
me one right before, like the second to last or last series of the year. I
Yeah.
feel like they should always play.
I
Like
agree.
in kind of like college basketball, football, where the rivalries are always at the end and
Yeah.
it has more stakes. Why can't we do that in pro sports?
I would
Yeah.
fucking love for them to be an opening day against each other.
That would be
awesome.
Hell fucking
They've
yeah.
done it.
Benches
Yeah, but it's
player
been a
and brawl
while.
on
It's been a
opening
while.
day. Hell yeah, sign me
Right.
up.
They've
Right?
definitely done that because I remember
They
not
have.
not like super long ago,
And
but
I don't think they've done it since like
No,
the-
but also just think of the
maybe
money
the
you'd
90s,
make.
if not even at most the early
Yeah,
2000s.
the money you'd make in either
Right.
stadium,
Red Sox
either
Yankees
park.
opening day.
I don't think they've done it since.
I don't remember it any time
I
recently.
don't think they've done it on opening day since before the Red Sox won in 04.
Really? Are you sure about that?
I'm not positive,
Yeah,
but
I don't know how far back, but I know it's been a while.
I feel like they had to have by now. Maybe not. I mean, I'm
they
probably
usually do
wrong,
play
but-
within the first couple of series, but I don't think it's the opening series that they ever play against each other.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not saying you're wrong. I just
Yeah.
feel like
If
it's
you know
happened
out
more
there,
recently.
Yeah,
Let us
exactly.
know. Yeah.
I mean, I could be wrong.
I could
as
lean
fuck.
over there. I just don't.
I was thinking that. I was like,
You
we
guys-
can
My
search it
phone
up by
is
next week.
there.
No, fuck that. You tell us.
No, yeah, I'm not gonna look it up. Like you
tell
tell
us.
me that I'm
Yeah.
wrong. Be like, hey, idiot, they did it 2 years ago.
Yeah,
I'm like,
and then
oh, fuck.
subscribe and then send it to 10 of your friends. Tell them
Right,
to subscribe.
exactly.
All right,
And
tell
tell
us
all
all.
10 of them to call me an idiot too. Like, fuck it, I don't care.
Yeah, but we're gonna
Yeah.
get to
and then
you
if you
not
can
being
get
an
30
idiot,
new
though.
subscribers, you get to the 30
That's
versus
right.
1 battle royal versus Flame Bam.
I have a large amount of crow to eat, served by none other than one Flanabam.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
There was a large part of me that simply didn't want this to happen, but there was also a large part of me that said it was simply not going to happen. I know you may have agreed with me.
I
You
figured
did-
it was going to happen,
Yes.
but I didn't want it to happen.
Right.
Right. So
yeah,
I-
I'm kind of in the middle there too.
I'll eat a large amount of crow because John Cena won his 17th title at WrestleMania. Congratulations, Flanabam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I know you're not even. No, you're not.
You
happy
were
about it.
correct. I
Pays to be right.
felt like it was. Honestly, I'm going to be honest. I wasn't 100% certain still going into Mania. I wasn't 100%
I'll be completely
certain.
honest with you. Once they turned him heel, I was uncertain.
Yeah.
I was like,
that
oh,
made
I don't
me
know anymore. now.
I think that, but not more confident. There was still after the heel turn. I still thought because I was like, they can't do this. They can't. There's no way.
Right.
Like, why would you do this? Cody doesn't deserve this, but also John isn't going to do this. He just did the job for Jey. He'll do the job for Cody. But then there was probably, I think, 2 or 3 weeks out. Honestly, it was really when they started to get physical and Cody was dominating all
That's
the
the
physical.
thing.
Yeah.
So we know it's like, all right, if this guy's getting beat up every week, he's got to go over at some point. So I think that was when it confirmed, like that first crossroads where John just went completely dead
Yep.
and didn't move. I'm like, all right, well,
Yeah.
we know how this ends.
Yeah.
Sadly,
That-
but
especially after that, especially when they did it the SmackDown before
right before,
Mania.
yeah, I'm
Because like that was
come on now.
like at least the second time
Yep.
they'd done that.
Yep.
And John never got the upper hand in
Never,
any of that.
never
so it's
got
like,
anything.
Oh, he's gotta win now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
That
a
was the moment that
confirmation.
cemented it for me.
confirmation
But going
for me, yeah,
into
same.
that SmackDown, I was still like, it could go either way.
Which kayfabe purposes, it kind of makes sense because he hasn't gone over besides the Elimination Chamber in a really long
Yeah,
time.
right,
it's
absolutely.
true.
You know,
It's
so
true.
it's kind of like believable in a sense, but
Yep.
then does he have like these like kayfabe superpowers because it's his last run
Yeah.
type of thing? And
Right.
well, quite frankly, we found out his superpower was just Travis Scott.
Yeah.
Yes.
I want to
The
quote
Fiend
my
himself.
dad. Yeah, I want to quote my dad.
Oh God, yes, it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
This is paraphrasing, but essentially what was said. Where he
Where's
goes,
why Scott Travis out there?
no, he said, "What's with all the nut shots all weekend?" That was his question. Was what's with all these
Deep nut shots too.
It was right
Deep.
after
We're getting in there.
After the nut shot was happened on Cody. My dad was bullshit. He's like, what's with all these nut shots all weekend? And it's the truth. I mean, listen, ladies,
that's it. The nuts dominated the
shout out to women. Getting hit in the nuts puts giving birth. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding with that.
It's a close second.
Yeah. Very distant. But no, it was just funny how that was the result of both of the biggest.
I don't have a wife. I'll say it. It's the worst pain in the world.
Thank you.
We shout out to women. Shout out to women on that. But yeah, Cena gets the title, and we've had a month-long break, and I think I was pretty bored for this build. I was not, and I think that's like
screwed the pooch.
You can kind of flip it and say that that's what he wanted, right? Because that's kind of what he's saying.
Yeah,
right?
that was his whole shtick. I'm ruining wrestling. It's not fun. It's black and white. I'm not here for you, which I can get and appreciate.
But Mania being pushed later didn't benefit.
Yes, the aspects
most
around
of the feuds,
it.
to be honest.
Almost all of them.
Yeah.
No, and that's what I'm saying there. I can't think of one build outside of maybe Charlotte and Tiffany that
had
got
like a pop
better throughout the build
Yeah.
and was like, okay, I'm excited for this one.
It
was really the only one that moved the needle for me.
Yeah. It almost felt like they kept saying, like, Mania's later this year. We got time to build up to this shit. And then all of a sudden it's like 2 weeks out and they're like, oh, fuck, we got to ramp everything up.
And I wonder, and I don't, in hindsight, the way it ended, I don't think this is the case, but I was wondering, and I guess I was trying to give them an out in my head. I'm like, okay, well, if you think about it, the road to WrestleMania really started at Saturday night's main event, started a little earlier than it did before. So did they start earlier and have the same type of build, and they just kind of were like, oh shit, we still got another month to fill? There's no excuse for that. There's no excuse for that. But I was trying to grasp it because I'm like, compared to last year's build,
oh my god,
to today, and I sound like Trump. Everybody's saying it.
Yeah.
Like I haven't heard one person who was like the build this year is anywhere close to last year's build for anybody.
No.
For anybody. Literally, Tiffany and Charlotte aside, and that's because they just fucking did a shoot.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why.
And if you put that build in last year's Mania, it's still one of the lower matches last year that I would have been interested in.
No, 100%. I mean, well, last year. Now fuck it. Let's just get into it. I mean, you can make the argument that the final boss is the reason for a lot of this, because last year's build was incredible, right? And then what happened afterwards for a year essentially almost makes no fucking sense. And it just seems like he had it out for Cody, and it seems like him and Triple H are kind of at odds with creative.
Oh, yeah.
And now that brought it into this year, because now what the fuck was the point of him being involved at Elimination Chamber at all? If Travis Scott, was it just to be like, here's Travis Scott, is The Rock coming type of thing?
Yep.
Like, why else was he involved?
And that's my thing. And listening, I don't know if you guys caught his segment with McAfee the other day where he tried to explain
Yes.
Which none of that made any sense to me. That was like, this is just fucking Dwayne talking.
It was also incredibly passive aggressive.
So passive aggressive.
So
like at the beginning, he's like, a couple things I would have changed. Like, fuck. But you weren't there to change it.
Yeah,
So you did this. So yeah, that's my biggest frustration is not with John, certainly not with Cody, not with Triple H for as much as I know. It's Dwayne. Because like you come back, you do what you do at Elimination Chamber. Everything could have happened at Elimination Chamber the exact same way without you.
Yeah.
John could have turned literally the exact same way. The same deadpan look to the camera, the same nut shot. Everything could have gone that exact same way without you, and of course without Travis Scott.
Yeah.
Right. Now, Travis Scott, I can't blame Travis Scott. He's just in there fucking because they're putting him in there. Even though, especially on Mania, I was just like, what the fuck, right? Like, we talked about the picture from Elimination Chamber, the three of them being like, oh, this moment's going to be remembered. And then we fast forward to this moment at Mania, and it's even more frustrating because Rock's not in it to balance it. But, like, Dwayne, this is all you.
Yep.
And for you to say, like, oh, no, I thought it was good and it didn't need me at this point, and I just wanted to kind of kickstart and get it going. Like, no, you just sabotaged all of it by not being there. Because, again, it all could have happened without you there, but you had to insert yourself. You had to be a part of it. And then basically when it's time to shit or get off the party, like, I don't need to be here, which to me is like, I couldn't be there for whatever reason. You were in Hawaii. He kind of on this new movie, which he said, but in my head, it's like, bro, 3 months ago at Elimination Chamber or whenever that was, or the build up when this was decided, because again, he was like, this was my idea. I want to pitch this. Triple H was the one who was like, let's pivot to John because Cody didn't want it. But like, come on, like you should have had your schedule to the point of where you could have been there what you needed. Also, you're not filming anything in Hawaii yet. Right. You're not filming until next year, according to you. You couldn't have flown your ass right over to Vegas. That's what, like a 4 or 5 hour plane ride from Hawaii to get to Vegas for a night? Like, there's no way. It's bullshit. And it sucks because I feel like it felt like he was sabotaging it. Like, it really felt like he was like, Trips, I'm going to stick it to you on this one because they're all going to blame you because you're the head of creative, you're this, you're that, and the other, which we're not, right? But
I've also seen a lot of people online blaming The Rock for this and not Triple H. Like, Triple H hasn't taken, and I think rightfully so, he hasn't taken much of the blame.
Yes. And who knows? There could be some for him. There was definitely some Triple H stuff with the other builds. Like we said, right? There's other, I think, places to place blame on Triple H outside of his Trump comments. There's places to place blame, but I don't know that this was it. This, for me, is all on Dwayne.
Yeah.
This is all on fucking Dwayne.
The only thing that I could see possibly being a Triple H decision, like if the one thing that could be like why Triple H made the call, and I don't think this is it at all, but like to play devil's advocate, I guess, is that they had that whole moment with Cena holding up the title with the 17 in the background.
Yep.
5 years from now, there's a good chance people won't remember he did that as a heel.
Yes.
But they'll be able to say he won 17, and they want him alone in the ring doing that so they can replay it in the future as like the big moment. So like he could be like, don't come out, we need Cena here alone type of thing.
Yeah.
I don't think that's what it was, but like that could be. That's the only way I could see it being Triple H's fault.
Yep.
I didn't have I watched it in my dad's room, and his room is loud as hell between the oxygen machines and him not stopping to like just talking constantly. I couldn't hear the crowd super well. Did at any point it feel like we were almost getting like a Hogan Rock Mania 18 now? Like where like the heel was getting Cena was getting cheers.
That was my thought. And I think a lot of people thought it was going to happen that way. Even might have been Rock who someone talked about it, was like, yeah, it's going to be kind of like this. Because remember, they booed the shit out of Cody.
Right.
That's what I mean.
The way they booed him on SmackDown wasn't the same way at Mania.
No.
And I think maybe, granted, I want to say a different crowd for Mania, even though that crowd at SmackDown would have been the same crowd. But it did not rise to the levels I thought. There was some boos, absolutely, especially during his introduction. But I think that was the height of the boost. Was his introduction.
And like Cena was getting cheers, but it never felt. It didn't have the same.
Didn't feel like Hogan.
As Rock Hogan.
Feel like
it didn't
Hogan,
even have the same energy as Cena Rock. The
Yeah,
first one, like
that's
that
true.
to me was the closest.
That's true.
Energy level wise to Rock Hogan is Cena Rock.
Yeah.
And this didn't even have that.
No.
in my opinion.
Nothing. I don't think anything will.
But even
top
the crowd wasn't the most the crowd was there was after the bell.
Yeah.
Like they weren't into it. It was a slow match. It was sluggish, and I think part of that was John being strategic, right? Like, I can't wrestle, so I'm gonna do a hammerlock. I'm gonna do a drop toe hold, things that wrestlers do. But it was slow. It dragged on. It certainly didn't get the best out of Cody and what Cody does best. So it didn't make him look good by proxy. Not saying and granted, I don't know what we could have really expected from John at this point, what sort of match we thought, but like it just wasn't entertaining. It wasn't captivating. It took Travis Scott 40 fucking minutes to get to the ring. Yeah. It's like, bro, you're in the middle of a match, like, and I know he doesn't know any better, but like somebody's telling him, like, no, you need to get to the fucking ring. Yeah. And everything he did just didn't look clean, and of course not. It just in all fucking ways it just fell short, man.
So there's this theory I've been seeing online that I'm actually kind of starting to believe a little bit, and it makes me very nervous for what John's going to do next, because like it might be even worse. Is that
you said he had a big a big announcement, something was going to happen. They told him to hold on to it because it was too crazy.
Yeah. But I don't think we'll ever know this because this isn't something that ever want to be made public. But the theory is John is purposely wrestling bad matches. He's doing an anti-entertainment type. He's going to ruin wrestling, so he's doing anti-entertainment matches by slow as fuck plotting, boring matches to be like, see, I'm ruining wrestling for you guys type thing.
And I get it. It's believable, but also I think it also sounds convenient. Right? Like because of where he is in his career, how he's been around or not been around, how he looks.
But I buy into that.
But I think when all the other stuff are not going his way, it's hard to be like, okay, I get what you're doing.
But like,
because he is saying that, and I get it. Like the one thing I did love was his entrance. I loved that he finally changed it up and it was black and white.
That was cool.
Loved that. I was like, okay, where's this been? Or even the picture with Triple H, he's got his back turned with the belt. Yes, those are the things we want. But like even recently, like you look at his performance at the Elimination Chamber, and that's way better than his performance at Mania. Way better.
Which is what makes me think.
Yeah,
it makes me think the theory
it's believable. It is believable.
Because look, even look at his face. It almost feels like this sucks. Fuck this shit. So I believe that, and I think that that's part of his ruining wrestling. Like I'm taking wrestling with me. like I'm taking the joy from you. Like you're not going to see me put on a good match.
Press conference. That's a clickbait question. Like those are the things I love. But then it's hard because then you think of how they're pulling the curtain back, and then you see the pictures of him with the little kid still, right? Like with the belt afterwards, and all these little things still being John Cena. I'm like, if you're gonna do it, you got to.
But
do
even
it.
how he was on McAfee, like he kind of was not full heel.
He wasn't.
McAfee.
No,
like
he was
like,
more like traditional John
and, like,
Cena,
being vulnerable, talking about like getting bullied into getting hair plugs and shit,
which is hilarious of a juxtaposition. Because then you see what Heyman did on
my
McAfee.
God,
You see what
Heyman,
like other people
all
did
week.
on there. Like even Stone Cold being Stone Cold is just like, okay, well, what are we doing? And it's just, and I think that's where they're losing me is like the kayfabe, like going so far away from kayfabe. And I get it, and we know, right? We all know, but like there's just certain things that you gotta kind of keep through the lens of kayfabe because it makes other things make more sense or flow or just have symmetry.
Oh, how many people are just using kayfabe to hide their true feelings, or like to mask their true feelings?
Right.
You know, like Heyman, for example.
Yes.
You know, like
100%.
like Heyman. I mean, that was a shoot, brother.
Yeah.
Where you know him and even
shit
like
was
McAfee
wild.
and you know. I know McAfee at ESPN is fucking like
golden child.
untouchable, you know.
He's
like
got Bob Iger in his pocket.
Yeah.
He's Disney. He's not even
literally.
ESPN.
So I know that won't affect him, but I mean, you look
But
at.
he looked uncomfortable.
Oh yeah, he looked uncomfortable, and also like,
whoa, wait a second, Paul.
because there's some real shit happening,
yes.
you know, like the Shannon Sharp shit.
100%.
Like, and,
if
you know,
Shannon and Stephen A. want to turn around and be like, I'm suing you for libel, like
they could.
Show. They could.
And how much of that is how far can you say, oh, it's kayfabe, brother, like it's Heyman,
Yeah.
like you know he's working, working. There comes a point where it's like, yo, but there's real like $50 million or whatever it is, $30 million lawsuit that Shannon Sharp's in the middle of, and like there's like you're talking about like animosity that's been speculated, but like
that's the thing. Like,
you're
that
basically putting words in
speculation's always
McAfee's
been there,
mouth
100%.
about your other highest paid, you know,
even like
on
the
my
weed
personality,
bit, right? Like I think we all know Pat's fried at all times.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Like he looks fried in the middle of Smack.
Looks
Like
fried
he does
constantly.
his best work fried.
Oh, absolutely.
So like we know that, but even like putting it out there and doing some of those things, it's like it could be like.
Cutting
It still is a
ECW
corporate
promos
world.
on
Yeah.
ESPN,
Yeah.
like that was still the portion of the show that was on television,
Exactly.
brother.
It's not
like,
when they switched over to YouTube. And like, as a viewer, I loved it. Like I didn't watch
it's
it
great,
live,
yeah.
but I flipped it on and I was like, wait, holy shit!
Oh, dude.
holy shit!
yeah,
Like he's really going there.
Yeah.
the McAfee show all weekend in Vegas was fucking just
was. It
awesome,
was.
awesome content. Like when they had the dudes on the show dressed up
like Hogan,
when
and
he came, I was like,
introduced himself to
"Fuck you, brother."
Yeah. So, when he introduced him to Rhea, he's like, I'm terrible.
Yeah, it's so good.
That was spot on. It was great content.
No, they were good, and you can incorporate them. Like when Gunther's choking out McAfee and they jumped the barricade. It's like because I think that I'm pretty sure there was one security who was in the back who didn't know, and he tackled Darius Butler. Like I think he didn't really know what was coming.
So-
but that shit was good. Like those are the ways you can do it and still have fun, and no one's gonna be worse. Worse to wear.
So-
overall, the content was good.
Yeah. The best part about them jumping the barricade on Raw, I just thankfully happened to have the next day off, so I actually just out of coincidence watched McAfee live, and they were talking about that segment, and they were apparently like, so security knew we were coming over the barricades, but there were people behind us that were like, should we go too?
Oh,
and we were
shit.
like, we really hope these motherfuckers don't come with
Yeah,
us.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, I know. That was like
That
all of a
would've
sudden they go full. I've been waiting for this moment my whole life.
They're like, we were really
I think
nervous,
Cass
like
was-
three
Cass
rows
was
were
sitting
going to
right
come with
behind
us.
them.
Oh, really?
Cass was sitting right behind them. So Wale, I'm sure, was there. So it was probably some other celebs, but yeah,
Yeah,
they
they
could have got sketchy.
it
Right.
definitely could have got sketchy.
Because like, there
sketchy.
probably were a lot of other celebs, but there were
Oh,
definitely like some real
100%,
fans that would have been like,
100%.
oh, fuck, we're doing this.
Or even
Yeah.
another celeb who's either not as notable or who wasn't a part of it, and they're like,
Right.
nah, bro, I know you weren't supposed to be here.
George
Yeah.
Kittle just jumps
Yeah.
over and goes there.
Yeah, I think security would have been like, okay,
Right.
go, Mr. Kittle, have your way with him.
So, I think we are pretty much in agreement that of the full weekend, the main event night 2 was probably one of the weaker matches of the
If
whole
not
weekend,
the
if
weakest
not
think
the
it
weakest.
was like I think in totality because of
I
how
think
big
the-
it was,
yeah.
because of what it meant, because of what we thought could have been, how it ended. I think it is the most disappointing.
You know what's weird? I've been thinking about the 2 nights the past few days, and it's really weird when you like really boil it down how they're the exact same night but in reverse. So like
Sort of.
for me,
Yeah.
so for me at least, of night 1, the first 3 matches were kind of disappointing, and I wasn't really into them. And then the next 4, I really enjoyed and thought were really
What
good.
was the third match? Because the first 2 definitely. The
The
new
third was
New Day.
Jade
the new
and
day
Naomi.
was what?
Was Jade and Naomi.
I like that match.
That's fair.
I didn't mind
Yeah,
it.
I liked it.
It didn't
You
hit
know
a chord
why?
with me for some reason.
Because I saw a lot out of Jade that I really needed to see. I
Yeah.
needed to see like a clean like she fucking needs my validation.
Right.
But like,
No, I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
like,
oh, 100%. But because of how it's been discussed,
you
how
know,
she's been
we
discussed.
saw a lot of her for many reasons. Many
But
reasons.
shout out to, and not to get too graphic, but she had some nip slips with her gears a little too big. Shout out to whatever they use to kind of cover up nips these days.
Yeah, it's like the tape or whatever. Yeah.
Like, if you're not looking at it, you wouldn't have known
You
she had a
would've
nip
missed
slip.
some-
If
yeah.
you weren't fucking peering and trying to see something there, you wouldn't have known. And it happened so many times.
Yeah,
And
You
a
weren't
ton
like
of
a
times.
perv.
I mean, there was
Yeah.
one
You would
point.
have totally missed it.
Yeah, who the hell would see that
Right,
live?
no, I mean, who's slowing down the DVR?
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, who
But-
paused it for a
No,
while?
but
Who
like
went to Reddit to find
whatever
it?
they use to like cover
Not
up
me.
nips these days is great shit.
Yeah,
'Cause-
great nip blocker.
Oh,
Shout out to
did
women
a good
though.
job.
I think overall the women had the better match. Like
oh, yeah.
if you're
the
going
women's
like
triple
battle
threat
of the
was
sexes,
the match of the weekend.
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
For me, it was the match of the
So
weekend.
that ties into the more of how insane
yeah.
it is. So, like I said, the first three, for me at least, of night one,
Yeah, I want
were
to talk
nothing
Jey and
special.
Gunther because
And then the next four were really good. Night two, the first four were great, and the next three weren't that good.
who was the last two before? The women's tag match, right?
The women's tag,
Yes.
and Logan Paul and AJ Styles.
Yes.
I didn't
That
care for
is-
any of those.
I thought that could have been a show
And
stealer. And
that's also where it starts to get weird. Night one opens with a disappointing men's world title,
potential
changing hand.
panic attack
bro,
inducing.
I thought
Yeah.
he was gonna have a stroke.
Yeah, he
I
did
thought he
not.
was having a heart attack at first.
I legit, and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, nobody else talking about this. I went to Twitter, I didn't see anybody talking. I'm like, am I the only one? Am I imagining?
No,
I
me-
turned to
no.
my wife. I'm like, babe, do you not see him grabbing his arm and grabbing his chest from the very? And the running joke has been he gets too blown up on the
Yeah.
Eat
Yeah.
entrance. He purposely calmed it down on the Eat entrance, but when they're ringing the bell and he's sitting on the turnbuckle and he's rubbing, I'm like,
Yeah.
is he having a stroke?
yeah.
Yeah.
So literally,
And it didn't stop the whole match.
yeah.
I know.
So literally, you texted us. I think Jay's having a panic attack, and as you sent that, like I'm literally typing up. Jay seems really off right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like,
you can see it in his face. The
Yeah.
way the ref was talking to him, the way the ref was talking to Gunther, the way Gunther and him
Yeah.
were talking. I was like, sadly, I was like, is he gonna? What the fuck's happening?
yeah,
it was.
the fact
It was
that, like,
scary.
he weirdly took his arm sleeve
Yes,
off
but
and,
from
like,
the
you could
jump.
see- yeah,
Yeah,
It was-
it was scary
Yeah.
and sketchy, and I guess kudos to him.
Yeah.
because I'm sure in his head he's like, "Fuck." Hey, I'm sure he was thinking of last year's match. I'm sure he's thinking, "This is the belt. This is the win. I can't cut this short and have a cheap finish and go home early." Like, and I felt like the finish was rushed.
Yeah.
I felt like the finish was rushed in a lot of matches during the weekend.
Yes.
like it was like snap your fingers, boom,
Yep.
boom, boom, go home.
And the
Like
entrances
the
were.
pacing was not good.
but also with that match, especially like the whole point of that match is the big pop for Jay winning.
Yeah.
Why are you having him win with the submission?
submission,
Yeah.
That
but,
takes
but
a
also
second for
Gunther
the crowd
slapped
to
out.
realize.
Gunther tapped out in 3 seconds.
Yeah, he
Yes.
tapped out so fast.
Yeah.
Like if you're Gunther in this whole building, you're gonna get choked out. You should like Stone Cold pass out.
Right.
Yeah.
You should not tap.
Yeah,
Like
I agree with
it
that.
just didn't make any
thought it was-
sense.
I actually almost thought it was a mistake. Like I thought, was he supposed to be maneuvering and he accidentally
something
tapped his
It
arm
went
or
so
something?
quick,
Because
but
I was
then
like,
seeing him kind of get up and beeline out of there, I was like, is there more to this? Is there?
well, maybe
And
he's.
I don't know.
I mean,
and I'm sure he
wants
who wouldn't
time
be
off,
upset,
I guess.
frustrated,
Right, that's-
or-
I know he just had a kid
Yeah.
a couple months
and you
ago.
also
so-
dropped the belt, so I'm sure
Right.
there's a lot there. But yeah, like it felt like the finish went quick. I don't want to chalk that up to Jay because they still went 15 minutes. So clearly he battled through what was ailing him. But yeah, sadly it just didn't lend to a good match. And
Yeah.
also I don't think it helps the narrative of Jay in these
Also-
no pun intended main event type
Yeah.
matches.
that match needed to blow it out the water
It did.
because the build
It
was
did.
fucking terrible.
Awful.
My
and it
God.
sucks because I will say Jay's last promo I loved.
Yeah.
I loved the last
It was
promo where he
the
got
one and
emotional.
only
It was the
promo.
only
the
one.
one, the one after he cut the Home Alone
Yes.
promo.
It was
Yeah.
it was his only promo that was
It
memorable.
just emotional. And it
Right.
was true emotion.
Yeah.
His run is not going to be long, and
Mm.
I do feel like Yeet is going to die this summer.
So here's my
Yeah,
goal.
I think
I don't think it's gonna last
I don't
past
think Jay will
SummerSlam.
be a champion in
No.
2026. He
No.
will not be
Here's-
the world champion in 2026.
Here's my bold
had his moment.
prediction that may or may not come true. But I'm going to say it now because if it does, I'll look like a fucking genius. Sami Zayn's going to turn heel and he's going to take the world title.
I
off
thought
of
it was going to
Jey Uso.
happen on
That'd be
Monday.
lit.
When they did that camera angle
Yeah.
of Jay up, and you could hear the crowd, similar to when Heyman went behind. You could hear the crowd. I'm like, is it going to happen now?
Yeah.
I'm glad it didn't, but that's absolutely what it's going to be.
Right.
I think they're going to fight at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
I think they're
It's
going
not
to fight
even
at
earlier.
SummerSlam. Maybe earlier.
Well-
but that would be something I'd hold
Yeah.
for SummerSlam.
Well,
I would
maybe
hope so,
the
but-
turn happens at not back whatever the PLE's right before and we get that match. But I think SummerSlam. I don't know that Sammy goes over at SummerSlam, but I think they absolutely are fighting in SummerSlam 100%.
Well, I think Jay is not a champion past SummerSlam.
Okay.
I don't think so.
can
No,
see that.
I
can
mean,
see that.
I would be shocked because unless his presser after WrestleMania was fucking embarrassing. It was.
Yeah,
it
I
was.
know.
And
It was just
It
so
wasn't even
weird.
funny drunk. It
No,
was like,
it was
what are you doing,
like,
dude?
It was upsetting
I
because
laughed
like,
in the moment, but
and
like,
I know
yeah, it
you
was
can't
bad.
be like this, but I was upset for the people asking questions.
Yeah.
Like they couldn't even get their question out, and he's like, "Yup," and I'm like, "Dude, I get it. You're on top of the world right now, as you should be, but it just didn't. Yeah.
But even what he was saying, it was like incoherent. Like if I'm the powers that be, I'm looking at that like, dude, you have an opportunity here to like really speak
Cement
similar
it.
to that
Yeah,
last
start
promo,
your
like
thing.
really speak
Yeah.
from your heart and be like, man, I wasn't supposed to be here. It wasn't supposed to be me because Roman. I was a tag team with my twin brother, which I know he
so many
referenced.
things.
But like, you know, the importance of this in my family and like I had to earn blah blah blah. There's so many things he could have said that he didn't.
So much.
And it was just like, yep. France was lit. Yeah, France was lit. Yeah, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
dude, you said that 10 times already
Yeah.
when they asked him about like the European crowds or whatever. Embarrassing and I don't know. I'm. My daughter does yeet kind of
Yeah.
when I do it now. She copies me. She doesn't say yeet, but she's like yeet. I think I'm done with yeet.
Yeah, I do think
No yeet.
Right, and it's tough because I mean, just think of Cody, right? The build, the chase. Now you have it. Now what?
Yeah.
Right, and that's Cody.
Yeah.
With a lot more around him and a lot more being put into him.
Cody did his thing for a year, man.
No, but that's
yeah.
what I'm saying. It against a lot of odds, and I think Jay has had some of the odds stacked up against him. But like, I think now it's at the point where they had no choice but to give him the belt. Right? They had no choice. But I guarantee you, some of them are like, "Is there a way out of this? Is there a way where we can not give him the belt?"
I think the one saving grace is that that's not the belt.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's the one saving grace for the company is like, who gives a fuck? It's our it's
Right.
our upper mid card title. Practically at
And
this
Gunther
point.
has fallen
Which
victim
sucks,
2 years in a
but-
row.
Right.
Yeah.
And now it's like, what do you do with him? I know he's going
Right.
to take some time off. It seems like. I think he eventually could. Now, if with the belt being on Cena, this is your chance to go to what we've always asked for, is to be like, okay, are we done with the year-long champions? Are we done
Hell
with
yeah.
like,
Yep.
the 1,000 days? Like,
Yeah.
can we get some parity? Can we get some like, hey, not every PLE, but like every few PLEs we get a new champion or the opportunity to drop, like, because think about it. We agree that in that title, that lineage, right? You have Cena with it now. Orton has stepped up to be the next. Does Orton take it from him? Maybe.
No.
But the only reason why I
don't
say
think so.
it's a possibility is because like if it's not Orton and it's somebody else, they're never going to give Orton the title again, because if he doesn't take it off of Cena, who's he going to take it off of?
Oh, he'll get it back.
Oh, I think
so,
he'll get it. I think because he's got time. I
Yeah.
mean, God willing.
I don't
especially
know.
The way
He says he
looks.
only has a couple years.
Well, I actually
think a
heard
couple years,
apparently he just signed a 5-year contract and he wants to sign another one. After
Oh,
that.
okay, all right.
Allegedly.
Maybe
Well, he's having the
maybe
most
slow
fun.
down on the extension.
Yeah,
but I
especially
can see
'cause
him
he's
around for
45
5
right now.
years. Yeah,
He
I can see
looks-
him around for 5 years, but I definitely can see a similar where, and I hope it doesn't. I hope this doesn't become the new norm with a farewell tour. You're a legend. You get the belt. Copy paste.
Yeah.
But I definitely think there's time for him. I can totally see with like, especially in St. Louis backlash that the way that was. But I just don't think they take it off John.
I will
right
say
away.
though,
I
I
don't
think
so.
to your point about I don't want farewell tours and here's the belt. I don't think had John been at 16 he wins at Mania. I think he only got it so he could pass Flair.
Agreed.
Oh,
agreed.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
if
yeah.
he's at
I
15,
agree.
he doesn't get
I
it.
agree.
He probably doesn't even
get
appeal-
it at all. He
probably-
probably doesn't get. He
But I
maybe
mean, the
gets the
joke's
title
on
shot.
him.
Yeah.
The joke's
But
on
he
him
doesn't
when
get it.
Tony Khan puts the AEW World Title on Ric Flair next
That's
week,
right.
just to spite
Twice.
them.
He'll do it twice, so he gets to
just
18.
spite them. But yeah, I agree with that because I was still convinced up until
Right.
a few weeks ago that Cody was going to retain. So
Like
yeah.
honestly, if he wasn't at 16 already, there's a chance it's like him versus Logan Paul at this year's WrestleMania.
Yeah,
Logan,
oh, yeah,
and Logan
for
Paul
sure.
goes over.
Right, probably, yeah.
But I think, and I don't think this
I
is a
mean,
bold prediction. I think you
Austin,
guys probably think similar, but like I think what is going to happen is he will have the belt. When John drops the belt, it'll be because The Rock fucked him or someone Rock related
Yeah.
fucks him, and then he becomes a face again, and then he rides off into the sunset with one more big victory. Again, I thought it was going to be The Rock. Now that The Rock, fucking who knows? No more The Rock. Dwayne, you're not The Rock to me anymore. You're just Dwayne.
Here's Dwayne.
Unless Dwayne comes back, like I thought that was what was going to happen, and then that way he retires as a face because there's no way he retires as a heel. We all know that. And I thought that might have happened around SummerSlam when maybe he drops it, and then there's a build and whatever. So yeah, I think Backlash is a little too soon, but who knows? Who
So I've
fucking
been
knows?
saying for my I don't know if this is going to happen anymore, but I had been
Punk
pitching
Elimination Chamber?
Punk at
Yeah.
Money in the Bank
Money in the
for
Bank,
the
sorry,
callback to
Money in the Bank,
2011.
yep.
After his promo on Raw, I almost feel like he's not going to drop that till his last show.
Yeah.
Like it almost feels like they're going to keep
It's-
it on
yeah.
him basically this whole year.
And there's the December is a show it's in Boston, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ruthless Aggression, I think, is the rumored title of the
I
show.
wouldn't even be surprised if they just call it Cena's last match.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Just right.
just like Rick.
Exactly. Just really
sticking it to Rick. Yeah.
He doesn't have a son-in-law to team up with, so who is this? Who is this? A former son-in-law. Who's his tag partner? I don't know.
Nikki Bella.
Who was he? Who
The
was
most awkward mix.
the Bellas coming back?
Right?
Didn't he have a tag partner in OVW who was like? No, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Ultimate Warrior and Sting being tag partners when they were the fucking something
they were
liners. Something liners. I don't know.
No, they were the fucking something dingoes.
Oh, hell yeah. That's a sick name.
Because he was the Dingo Warrior. I thought that was the name of the team.
No, the first tag that they were in was Sting, Warrior, and they wore just like black eyeliner.
Right.
That wasn't. I don't think that was Dingo Warrior. I think that even preceded it.
Oh,
I think there might even been a third guy in the mix for that. I forget what they were.
Dingo
It's like
Warrior,
something
sick,
liners
sick
or something.
name.
I don't know. But.
So yeah, that's interesting. Cena and Orton, callback. It's his final
It's
year.
gonna be fun. It's gonna be good.
It'd be
Well,
great.
Should be.
See,
Well,
if they're doing the
I know. I think Cena will make it fun. I mean, I think Orton will
slow
make it fun.
enough
Sorry.
as it fucking is. Now add Cena doing it on purpose. God damn, that match is gonna
But
be
at least Orton's slow is what we're used to
I
and
know,
accustomed
but like
to.
it's gonna be even worse.
He might ratchet it
When he
up.
does that like stomp thing, that's gonna be 45 fucking minutes. of
Yeah,
him just
yeah.
Listen,
stomping
nothing
on
is
Cena.
slower than Orton's entrance. Like,
Undertaker's
I mean, we
entrance.
dealt with Roman Reigns'
at this point, I
bloodline
don't
entrance.
fucking know at this point.
Bloodline,
Yeah,
Roman Reigns.
full bloodline
Come on,
No,
man.
those
That
were
shit
long
was
too,
long
but
as
But that
fuck.
shit
Nothing
was
is
also
longer
like
than an
injected
Undertaker.
into
Yeah,
my
Undertaker
veins,
was bad.
man. Orton shit is.
Besides that one time he caught on fire.
He
Yeah.
had to run at that point.
Whoa, Undertaker's really excited for this match.
You always wonder if it was like, dude, he's going too slow. Just fucking.
That's
hit him
funny.
once.
Real
Yeah.
quick, and I know
We're against
this
time
is a little,
constraints
but
here.
like, do you think? And I didn't think this. I was actually talking to somebody just the other day on Easter. I was like, no, the Bloodline is still in. Maybe we're in the fourth inning now. Do you guys think the Bloodline storyline is anywhere close to being over? Like, do you think it's done?
It is.
I think it's
Because people were saying like, and there was a tweet. I forgot who tweeted it always, but some fucking tweet was like, Jay won, Jacob won, Roman's on his own. Like, it's done. There's nothing else to
I
do.
think it's
It
done.
does kind of
But
feel like it's
For
and
now.
I want to. I get it makes sense why, but in my head I'm like, it can't be done yet.
I think even The
Just
Rock
can't
said
be.
it was.
Because so we're never getting fucking Rock Roman now. Like we're like.
No, I think those things could still
But I think
happen.
that has
but-
to have a bloodline component. It can't. I don't think that's just.
I mean,
the
they'll
two of
call
them.
back to it.
We're not getting
probably,
Jacob and
but-
Roman. We're not getting, and this is what I was kind of hoping for. I don't think it's going to happen, but I was like, you now have your new, Dangerous Alliance going. Could that not be? You have Roman there. Can he not link up with the bloodline again? And that's the thing. Like, I don't know. Because
Well-
you got Heyman in the middle of it.
Because
Like,
it also feels like Jacob and Solo are doing the split thing now. It
but I
felt
still
like-
think there's time for that to. I think there's
Oh,
time
there's
for that to
absolutely-
play
that
and
could
run its
go all the way
course
to
and still.
SummerSlam.
I think they're gonna-
But still come back together. I think we see Jimmy and
Yeah.
Jay, especially now where Jay is. I think we see Jimmy and Jay.
Yeah, but what
sooner than
happened to
later.
Big Jim's push?
Exactly.
Right.
That's what
Because
I'm
Big
saying.
Jim was cutting promos
That's what I'm
like
saying.
ready to be
Right.
the guy.
So I think now with the way Jay is, I think it's so easy for them to say, all right, we're putting you two back together by SummerSlam or whenever.
You know
once
what's-
he drops.
You know what's insane about that? And to me, at least, also ties into the lackluster Jay Gunther push is, and this is entirely speculation on my part. We don't know this. We'll never know this. But I always remember an interview Roman Reigns did when Vince first left, not the Janelle Grant one, the one before that, and Hunter took over. And Roman said something along the lines of like, him and I have had a conversation. When the bloodline started, there was an end already in place, and he knows that, so it's about getting there. Now, when the bloodline started, that was before Cody was even rumored to be coming back.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
he was definitively AEW.
Yeah.
Which makes me think the original plan was for Jay to beat him and be Universal Champion, because it was
That
only
makes
the
sense.
one champion at the time. He was
That's
only
how
the
it
Universal
started.
Champion.
It was him and
Right?
Jay, main event in
So
the
I felt like
fucking
that was
PC.
supposed to be the full circle moment,
Makes
and then
sense.
instead we get Jay in a lackluster match that
Yeah.
had shit build with Gunther.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the thing. I think it makes
Terrible.
sense on paper to think it's over, but I guess I'm also just, hey now.
Did that die?
No space on the memory card.
On
is
the
what it's
memory
saying.
card?
Come on. Damn you. All right.
Son of a
3-man
mother-
Pac. Let's do it.
Yeah. Get on in here.
Should we adjust it? Can we zoom? How do we want to adjust?
adjust it.
Picture a little bit?
I'm just.
I'll keep chatting.
We made it 50 minutes.
50. That was a quick 50 minutes.
Quick 50 minutes.
That was
But yes, that's
quick
saying
as fuck.
on paper it makes all sense in the world that Bloodline is done, but I don't know. Part of me is just like I don't know that I can believe it yet.
Yeah,
I don't,
but then
because
also,
it's
like-
so easy to jump back into it. You could jump back to it at any point if you wanted
You
to.
could, absolutely.
But-
Which is why I think, like, I guess done's not the right word. It's simmering.
Yeah.
But, like-
it's definitely
like,
simmering. Yes, it's
like
definitely.
very
It's been
low
rub
simmer.
boil, and now you
Yeah.
just turn the pilot off,
It's
and now
like-
it's just kind of sitting
It's
there.
like when you have a fire out, and it's just the embers
Yep,
right now. You're
yep.
just waiting for those to go out.
I agree, but I think gust of wind.
Oh, absolutely. You're
Stoke
right.
'em, like,
it could come back
I
with a nice
guess
gust
maybe
of
I'm
wind.
hoping. I don't know. Maybe I just want to see more of it. There's still so many of those matches, and I think they can still happen without the blood.
Exactly.
the
That's
whole
my
being
thing. You
under
can
the
still do
umbrella of
those
the
matches.
bloodline. But
The other problem, though, is like, according to Roman Reigns, he doesn't have much time left.
I know.
Yeah, well, he's
He
been,
wants to go do other things.
he wants to do Hollywood and,
Yeah.
and stuff,
He
and
wants he wants to become Joe.
Right.
No
yeah,
more Roman.
he wants to just be Joe.
Fuck.
And he's
You already have a Samoa Joe, though, man.
I know. He's in the best shape
True.
of his life, man. Come on, don't do it.
he looks incredible, dude.
He looked fucking amazing. And then the
I
Concord
was-
11 fucking
Dude,
Jordan boots.
yeah.
I was just like,
Plus,
God
like the
damn.
black and
The
white,
black and
combined
white.
Man,
so
looks
sick.
so good. He fucking looked great, man.
Yeah, no.
That match, gear of the night,
Yeah.
all around.
Listen,
Oh, for sure.
Minus CM Punk's fucking hilarious sweatshirt.
Yeah.
That like he just found in his garage.
Yeah.
Like, oh fuck, I need something.
Yeah.
Typical.
I'm gonna say it. Roman looked hot.
Yeah.
They
Roman
did,
looked
man. He looked
spicy
good,
hot.
man.
I'm gonna say it. I'd fuck him.
Yeah,
He's a good looking dude.
Man boner for a man.
Yeah.
He's a good looking
Damn
dude,
right.
man.
He was, but like it was just.
Got chiseled jaw. He's just he's
I knew this dude was gonna come out looking super yoked when on McAfee he kept like referencing his nutritionist.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this dude's dialed.
No,
in.
because that's the thing. He looks way more cut.
Yeah,
like
that's
he's
what it
always
was.
been in good shape. But you remember the running joke? Oh, he's got to wear the vest because he's got no chest and he
Yeah,
doesn't have
no.
any abs, and that's why his pants are like, nah, man. He the guy just looked good the other day.
Yeah,
Like,
no, he
sorry.
looked sharp. Actually, everybody. There was a lot
No,
of
they all
people
did.
that
Seth looked good too.
Seth
looked good.
Seth looked solid. Yeah, I don't think there was anybody.
Who,
Dom looks good.
Yeah.
Shout out to Dom,
Like,
man, big Dom.
Braun Breaker's a fucking cyborg. So
Yeah.
By the way, with Seth, who do you think pissed off more people last week? Roman with his Trump comments, or Seth with his Jesus fucking Jesus
yeah,
thorn
with the
sunglasses?
thorns. But it just gave you like I think one of you guys said it like CrossFit Jesus.
CrossFit
is back.
Jesus
so it
is
just
back,
made
right.
all the sense in the
No,
world.
it did.
Yeah, don't
But,
even
like,
get me started on Joe's
I feel like
comments about Trump.
I
Those
feel like
were
people
even worse than
looked
Triple
at,
H's.
looked at those sunglasses like, the fuck is he on Easter
on
weekend?
Easter, but that's why I loved
Like,
it.
oh, I loved it
As
too.
a Catholic,
But I
it's
think
like,
people were
fuck it,
pissed.
I can't get mad at this.
Dude popped
I
up and
love
said,
this.
"Oh, okay, we doing this.
Right.
But
We're
I
back."
love the two fits, and also I think it was foreshadowing of how it ended. Of like
Yeah.
I'm going back to
We should. It all
Architect,
made
burning
sense
it all
after we
down.
saw it, right?
Yeah.
And like,
And I had a feeling that was gonna happen. I remember saying to you guys, I was like, "All right, all right, Paul, it's time to burn it all down now."
Yeah. Yep.
Like, because that is what I was hoping. Over the last few weeks, there was a few comments from both of them where I was like, "Okay, I'm reading the writing on the wall here from both Paul and Seth." Even before the "Now you owe me a favor," there was a couple
That
comments.
fucking bothered me so
but
much.
that was like, all right, now
That was so-
because now that was it for me. There was no looking
Yeah.
back. It
But,
was
like,
he's leaving with him.
That was so stupid. I didn't stomp on you, so you owe me a
I
favor.
know.
Hey guys,
I
I
know.
didn't punch either of you in the
Exactly,
face
yeah.
when I
Yeah,
got
yeah.
you today. You both now owe me a favor.
right? Yeah.
So like,
Nah, yeah, that from a booking
Carry me
standpoint didn't
home.
make sense.
like fuck.
But also, like, again, I guess this is just kudos to Paul, but all of them involved, like, at that, like, knew it was coming, and even the way it happened, it still fucking swerved me.
Yeah.
Like, the
Oh,
way it
big
turned
time.
on both of them, I was just like, this is such good shit. Because I thought originally, and I guess maybe we'll jump into this fucking match, but when he grabbed the chair, I thought he was going to slide it past both of them directly to Seth.
Yeah.
At first.
I thought he was
because
gonna
of
do
the way
the-
Seth was positioned.
the way they did
I
it
actually thought
was
he was
great
gonna
though.
do the thing where he slid it perfectly in between the two of them.
Okay.
And it's like, ooh,
And then
who is
Seth
that meant
grabs
for?
it.
And then you
But
find
that,
out later.
that
it
was my
actually
thing, because
for
when
Seth.
they both looking, I thought he was going to do that and give a Heyman grin and just slide past the both of them, and they would both just be stuck, and then Seth could boom boom. But it was so much better.
Right.
Yeah,
so
much
much
better.
better.
Way better.
Yeah, that
So much
match
fucking
was
better.
amazing. The three of them was fucking
In the match
gold.
itself was
Yeah,
was
the match
amazing.
was
Yeah.
so good.
Like they
Arguably
tore
match of
it
the
the
weekend.
fuck down. Yeah, I
It's
think
the
that
two triple threat
I know.
matches
They
are
both-
the two
Like I would give the
match of
women
weekend.
just a slight edge.
I agree.
Because there was a couple spots where I was like, holy shit.
and also Io getting her fucking
Yes. I was so,
So I
happy
think-
she
yeah,
retained.
me too.
So happy she retained.
I think the best actually way to describe both of those matches is the women's was the better match, the men's was the better story.
Yep.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
makes
for
sense.
sure.
100%.
Yeah, and the I agree with that. Yeah, the
100%,
chemistry
but-
between in both matches though.
Yes.
All six
was
of those people were
phenomenal.
fucking
And
incredible.
it's so
Timing
hard.
was on point for
Yes.
all
I
of
am
them, too.
historically a guy who hates a triple threat in a big match.
Yeah.
I feel
I
like
usually
it's
am
usually
too.
a cop out, and it's like, oh, it's gonna feel weird. And there's always, I guess, like most three ways, there's always someone left
Right.
to the
Yeah,
side a little
yeah.
bit,
Right.
doesn't know what to do with their hands.
Yeah.
and like it didn't feel like that.
No.
Neither in the way. I mean, the fucking women crushed some of those spots, man. The strength, the athleticism, and all of that.
Yeah.
And again, I'm so glad fucking Io went over because I
Yes.
thought like, damn, she's not gonna go over. She's not gonna have the moment. Like we were glad she was going in with the belt because I don't think anybody thought
That
she was gonna
moonsault,
keep it.
I popped.
But it also makes the most sense.
Yes.
It makes the most sense for her to keep the belt. I don't
Yeah.
think it makes sense to put the belt on either Bianca or Rhea right now. Bianca's got a whole nother storyline that we know is coming.
Yep.
Rhea
Right.
doesn't ever need a belt for anything and can go anyway. Like Io, like she not only deserves it, but like it was the right thing to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially because for that whole build, she felt like the afterthought.
Yes, 100%.
So, like, she
and
had
I think,
to win in
and
that
that's why it
moment.
was so perfect. They built
Yeah.
it that way. Even
Io-
the beginning of the match. Like the way
Right.
she would, same thing. And she's
Right.
like, nah, this ain't happening.
And you know what? Hold on, sneeze coming.
Hello.
Oh, allergies. God bless. Dab on my haters.
Hail
Okay.
sneezer.
Thank you. Both of the women's title matches were had results that we were not expecting.
Yeah.
You know, we as much as they were deserving of it and we wanted it to happen, I still felt like Charlotte was going to win. I don't know why. I know that maybe some people didn't. They were like, they can't do that.
Right.
I thought she was for a little bit, but I think I came back around. Like originally, I was like, no, Tiffy's got to go over. It's the only thing to do. But then when shit got a little weird, I'm like, I don't know.
Is that the first time Charlotte's ever like lost clean one-on-one?
No,
Like
she lost to Rhea at 39.
It's been a while.
Oh, Rhea,
That was
that's right. Yeah,
in
yeah,
an
okay.
awesome
Yes.
fucking match. But
Okay.
That was such
clean.
a good match.
That was
like
a great
real
match,
First
too.
passing of the torch. That
Yeah.
was
Yeah, that was a great match.
But yeah, what did you guys think of the match?
I thought it was
That
good.
match. I thought it was a good match.
I thought until the triple threat, it was the best match of night one.
Did either of
Yeah, it
you
was a good
think
match.
that at all towards the end of that Charlotte was sandbagging a little bit? A little slow, a little lethargic, not really working with Tiff the
I don't
same way
think-
she was the first 10, 15
I don't
minutes.
think so.
I
There
don't
was some
think
stiff shots in
That's
that.
what it
There
was.
was
I
some-
don't think
there
it was
was some stiff
sandbagging, but
shots.
she was stiff.
There was
There was
one.
a
They
lot.
mistimed one kick where instantly Charlotte
her forehead.
caught her in
Yeah.
the dome. I saw it
Yup.
live. I'm like, oh fuck,
That shit was
she
a nice
definitely
little
took
raspberry.
all of that.
Quick.
And
Not to mention the tooth.
the tooth chip.
The
I
fucking
think-
tooth.
I
Shout out
think
to
the
the
kick
dentist.
was an accident,
Tooth
not
was back
stiff.
before the fucking press
Isaac
conference.
Yankem was working
But
extra
yes,
time. that
DDS
weekend,
was
yeah.
going hard.
Don't call him that to his face. He'll hang up on you.
Damn him.
I remember seeing he did like a call-in interview once, and like they called him.
Listen, Love
I
King,
Glenn,
but-
him, and he
Glenn
was like,
Jacobs.
I was
I
in
got
Love
you,
King,
I
but
got
there's
something else I got
there's
you.
not a word I want to speak to Glenn Jacobs.
Yeah, I
Because
know.
I got nothing
This
for
was
him.
pre him being mayor.
Also, I don't want to gloss over again. We said it. The comments from Triple H about Trump fucking rubbed me the wrong way. The comments from fucking Roman to Trump were
Yeah.
even we went to a whole nother level with it, and I was just like, Jesus.
So
I mean, these are TKO guys.
I
you
know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's expected. It's
unfortunately,
expected
you
at
know,
this
it's
point.
what it is.
Triple H made a lot of interesting comments last week. I wasn't going to bring these up,
Yeah.
but like
he spoke a lot.
he made one that I 1000% agree with, and then one that I'm like, no, man. So the one where he's like, the internet isn't real.
internet,
There's
yeah.
a bunch of people bitching about 1000% agree with.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
so true.
Yep.
Then
Not
he
that
made
we're a part of it.
Right. But then he made another comment, and I'm paraphrasing a bit because I don't remember it exactly, where he was like, I really just want to tell people sometimes, just shut the fuck up and watch it.
Yeah.
He's
I
like,
know,
He's
I
like,
know,
if I
yeah,
recommend a movie to you, you're just
Oh,
going
I
to
saw
go in
that.
open-minded. You're not going to go in with a notebook. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go in open-minded, but I'm still going to be fucking
Exactly.
critical
Not
of
the
this
same.
thing.
Yeah.
Not the
Just
same.
like I'm going to be critical
So
of the
was
match.
that in the first hour or the second hour of his speech?
yeah.
Oh,
Because
God.
Jesus fucking Christ! Like
Yeah.
I didn't watch it live, of course. Because who the fuck on the East Coast could watch
Didn't
that?
until
1 a.m.
4:30 in the
Fuck
morning.
those guys
Yeah, no.
for that. Poor Shawn Michaels.
Poor NXT in general.
Yeah, that was also
had to
crazy.
beat- they had to
Thinking of
be
like
at Stand
the
and Deliver at
bangers
5
they
a.m..
were putting on bangers, like Ricky Starks and Ego have a banger at
That
10:05
also that
a.m.
triple threat
At
match.
10:05 yeah, that triple that almost.
It
I
was
thought
the
that-
weekend for triple
I thought it was
threats.
gonna
Yeah.
steal the whole weekend.
I did too.
After that, I'm like, how does this get topped? All the triple
Oh,
threats.
it was
yeah.
the weekend for
three
triple
ways
threats.
all the way around. But the thing was like, dude, a 2-hour speech. Like we not rushed through everyone else, but it felt like we rushed through everyone else. And I remember I'm watching it on record. They get to, and we're going to Triple H, and I'm like, this still tells me there's an hour and 45 minutes. Why? He's the last thing. What else is there? And then he just went and went and went. And I get it. Like it's your moment, but like when Lex gets like 7 minutes up there, and then you go out there, and then also like the people in the crowd who you honored couldn't come up on stage because there wasn't time for that, I'm assuming. But you could shout out every fucking person you've ever met in your life. And I get it. You're running the show, but it doesn't help the allegations of you didn't want any of this in the
Yeah,
first
no,
place.
that when he kept saying like,
Like,
I didn't want this, I didn't want
It
this.
doesn't. You
Yeah,
got
and
to
then
Here's a 2-hour
figurine.
speech.
But then also every week on Raw, he's the only one that got a fucking
Yes,
video
a
package.
whole
video
package.
I didn't get a Lex Luger video package.
Then you get
natural
that
disasters.
terrifying wax figurine
Oh,
that thing scared the shit
brutal.
out of me.
The
That thing
second
was
worst thing
nasty. Then
of
you
the
get the
weekend.
whole steel sculpture, which was a little cool, but it was all chest.
Yeah.
It was all fucking chest.
Yeah.
And like that's what I'm saying, leaning into this. I also want to know where the fuck was Lex Luger Saturday?
Yeah.
I know he wasn't feeling well, but at least acknowledge him.
Well, I
what
guess
the
because he's
fuck?
not there.
But like
I
you
don't
could
know.
have still acknowledged him, man. They
Yeah.
acknowledge people post. So I'm not gonna say it.
But they have somebody there
Posthumously.
representing
Yeah,
them. Like
posthumously.
they have family or somebody there representing them.
but
Since
that's
nobody
what
was
I'm
there
like,
to
come on,
represent
man.
him.
DDP
It
wasn't
didn't
available.
help. Fucking, you
maybe
already
not.
couldn't get Sting. Fuck you, Tony Khan. But then like,
Well, allegedly they didn't ask. Really? Allegedly Nick Khan never reached out to ask if it would be cool
well
if
then
Sting
fuck
went
you,
there.
Nick.
Well, Nick
'Cause
Khan
you
was
gotta
too
at
busy
least-
trying to stop lawsuits.
I know.
Yeah,
really
I
was.
know. That was
the-
a
what a
What a
hilarious
fucking
moment.
flop. I'm
Fuck
so,
yeah, fuck
listen.
her.
No.
Well, listen.
That was terrible. That was Dylan Brooks levels flops. That was nasty.
I've seen people on the internet trying to be like, "Whoa, she could have like,
Nah, bro.
been like losing her balance, and that's
No.
why, bro, that was a
she lost her
fucking
balance into her
flop.
seat, into her nice cushion seats that we're currently sitting in. They're cushioned on your ass and your back. Nothing happened to that woman.
There's no.
She's gonna make bank.
Oh,
Yeah,
she will.
well,
She will.
I-
I would have been like, Mania tickets for life. All right, cool. We'll call it even. I can go. Actually, no. Steve, can I go in the ring and chug a Budweiser with you? All right, cool. We'll call
She
it
wanted
even.
nothing to do with Steve Austin.
She was pissed.
Nothing.
You could see. They kept you could see her in the corner of the
Yeah.
screen throughout the whole
And
segment.
even when he was like, "Are you okay?" She was like, "I'm good."
yeah.
was just
He
like,
was kind
clearly
of
you're
shook
not.
though.
He was.
When he
He
was
felt
in the
bad.
ring, he was kind of like.
The best-
And when he left at the end too,
Yeah.
he doubled
That-
back.
That's the best part, though. Dude's fucking covered in beer, and he goes over to confront this.
Yeah.
I
Hey, you all right?
guarantee Nick Khan was like, "Dude, get the fuck out of here. You're
Yeah.
making this worse."
You're not helping. But Nick Khan got over there quick.
He was
Like,
there
instantly.
instantly.
Shout out
Yeah.
to Nick Khan's son, Sonny. That man stole the weekend.
Yeah.
He had the two-piece
Oh,
Gucci
yeah,
short
yeah.
fit. Kid's the man.
Yeah,
I'm just
no.
gonna say, I'm surprised this hasn't happened
Oh,
sooner.
yes.
That motherfucker
Yes.
would
But
barrel
did you
around
see
that
he
ring in
missed
that
the
He missed the
stage?
stage.
I
They
know,
won.
he did.
Stage. He was like, "Oh, I'm gonna do my usual come around." They were like, "No, Steve. There's no. You can't go there." I was wondering why we hear Glass and no Steve for
I
like
know.
10 minutes. I was
So
like, "Where
long.
is he?"
It.
God bless him. God
That-
bless him.
I
He's
just,
still
like-
a pop every time.
It's so tight around the ring.
He flies
He's flying
on
to
them
ATV.
corners, man.
And I know that he's like a professional
Road racer
ATV
now, yeah.
driver. He talked about how like him and Kawasaki have been
Yeah,
partners for like
but
10
he was
years.
whipping it.
My brother, Stone Cold Steve Austin, the Texas Rattlesnake. You cannot go around corners of a
Slow
fucking
it down,
wrering
man. Did
ring.
they even move the stairs?
I don't think
they
so. I don't
know.
usually do.
I'm
and
pretty
I
sure
don't
they were
think
there.
they
He
did.
No,
They
went
usually do, and I don't
directly
think
into
they
the
did.
barricade, but
Trying to
that
get-
flop when the delay
So
on the
bad.
flop, like
So
I don't even
bad.
know what to compare it to. It was like worse than any soccer
Yeah.
flop I've ever seen
Yeah,
in
it
my
was.
life.
It was.
It was worse than somebody getting trying to take a charge in an NBA
Yeah.
playoff game and screaming at the ref. Like homegirl does not. She did not spend any time at the performance center learning how to take a
No,
bump because that
not
was
at all.
brutal. When I saw the replay, I said, "Oh hell no!" On full speed at first, I'm like, "Oh shit!" Like I saw her fall.
But even live, I kind of caught it. I was like, she just sat into her seat. Like it was one of those things where, like, I think we've all had a
Flop.
moment. Like you go to get up and you're maybe a little off, and you're like, let me just sit back down.
Right.
Like it was that. That's all
Flop.
it was.
Big
Yeah.
time flop.
But it was the type of thing of like, not great. She absolutely flopped. But in the immediate moment, it's the type of thing like you don't know how close
Oh,
her legs were,
100%.
so like it could have been like knee
My
damage or
thought
some
was
shit.
because you could see the barricade move. My thought was were her feet
Like,
under
it or like
and
right
the
up against
barricade
it.
made it so that she had no choice but to fall back in her seat because it was like crushing her feet.
she
But
flopped.
then you see that POV video of the woman next to her, and you can see, I'm assuming, her red shoes there.
yeah.
Yeah.
She looked fine.
No, flop.
But then also, I'm like, well, I might have done even worse.
Yeah.
Right?
I
would've
might have,
gone to
I might
the
have
ground.
launched. I might have launched over the barricade front,
Yeah.
like whiplash, like
Like
and just
undercut
sold-
me and my legs came up
sold the
over.
shit
Yeah.
out of it. Like
Tried to land on the
Yeah,
ATV.
just like Joel Gertner, like full blown, like just flopping around the fucking ring. So in hindsight, I don't know that I wouldn't have fucking leaned all
What
the
a
way
flop.
into it. But you're in the front row, so you got to be somebody or have something.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, she has bank, but she's about to have more bank.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Crazy. Yeah, Nick
Um,
Khan got there quick.
So-
so quick.
Hope
And
she
the point
doesn't.
where you're like, where the fuck was he to begin
Yeah,
with?
yeah,
Like,
he had
how
to be
did he get
close.
Was he
Yeah.
under the
so
ring?
quick?
Was he supposed
had
to like
to be
pop
close.
up?
Like,
I know second night he was kind of the end of the ramp where it starts to turn because that's where his son was, and I think he was sitting right next to his son, so maybe he was in the same spot.
he literally just like
But
hopped
he-
the barricade
yeah, he
and
was
ran over
gone.
there.
Yeah,
He
my
was
man
there.
was in the mix quick.
Yeah.
It was, but it was even funny when Steve tried to get back on the
Yeah.
know.
then move the ATV. It's like, no.
Like,
no,
bro,
just forget
just
it.
get the.
By the way,
forget it.
what the fuck is it with Steve Austin and what is it with our Attitude Era superstars drunk driving?
Yeah, dude. Just
The
maybe.
Rock down in tequila, then driving off
Yeah.
in his car. Austin getting on an ATV. That's still drunk driving.
I will
Yeah,
say,
the
dude.
motorized
I did
vehicle.
pop
On-
for Stone
in
Cold's
4K.
brother. I popped
Right.
for Stone Cold's brother being behind the announce
Yeah.
table.
Yes.
Like he looked like a kid in the candy store.
Yeah, that
I
was
love it.
great.
That was so fun.
Yeah.
But-
Some fun moments, but
yeah, I mean, overall, it was fun. It was a fun show. Like you said, there was some takeaways which were amazing. Like another thing I didn't love was Becky and fucking Lyra going over because I just didn't understand it. I'm like, you put the belt on Dom, which was again was a great moment.
Great moment.
I kind of had convinced myself that somehow the Raquel and Liv were going to come out, try to not screw Finn, but kind of try to screw Finn, and then it ended up backfiring on Dom, and Finn gets the belt.
Right.
Maybe I selfishly opened that because I just want Finn to have a fucking belt. But the way they did it was perfect.
No,
It was
Dom being
perfect. It was
IC champ was
absolutely
great.
perfect.
Oh,
Even
absolutely.
The best part was him getting to the top of the ramp, coming back down for that second pop, man.
yeah.
It was so good.
So especially with that pop, I have this very bold prediction that's probably not going to happen. That they're actually going to turn on him and not on Finn. They're going to
Ooh.
kick him out of the
And he's
Judgment
gonna
Day.
be full
With
face.
Liv and Raquel.
No, they're staying too. They're also going to turn on him.
I guess they're staying.
Yeah, they're
Oh,
staying.
wow.
Because like they're also leaning very heavily into it's going to be Finn.
Yeah.
To the point where like it's so obvious it's going to be Finn that gets kicked out that it feels like it's not actually going to be
Yeah,
Finn.
they
That,
just swear
I think
less.
that makes a lot of sense, and I would love that. The reason why I think that not would be hard to do, but then you go the next night and give the belts back to Raquel and Liv. So in my head, I'm like, all right, you want to fucking heat them up. They all got belts now. This is the perfect way to heat them up and basically be like, Finn, you're kind of the oddball here. You don't bring anything to this. Get the fuck out.
Dom's getting so many face reactions lately.
It is it's tough.
So, like, they can't turn him face and keep him in Judgment
That was,
Day.
I mean, and granted, I guess he kind of was not face before the match, but the pop he got coming out was not the pop he got leaving.
No.
That shit happened all within the match. Even when he couldn't get his fucking granddad's
so
mask
good.
off was hilarious.
Well, Brian Alvarez said that was the biggest pop he ever heard at WrestleMania.
Wow.
Yeah.
He said it was the biggest
It
pop
was
he
such a
ever
good
heard
pop,
at being in the live
Because the
crowd.
finish was
It makes
perfect.
me think he probably wasn't there last year then when Cody won.
I know.
No,
But
I know.
that pop was fucking massive.
But he said he compared it to an Undertaker and Triple H, like the sweet chin into the pedigree.
That was
Yeah,
fucking
Yeah,
pop.
he said that was the biggest pop he ever heard prior to this, to Dom winning.
Wow.
Right.
So
I mean, it was a hell of a pop.
Yeah. And granted, there wasn't many pops this weekend.
No.
There wasn't that many big pops this week.
But
the crowd was kind of lackluster.
Obviously not to that level, but like even the weeks leading up, Dom has been starting to get more face reactions to the point where it feels like he's going to eventually be a face.
It's a credit to the work that he's been putting in, man. You know,
he deserves it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's what makes me think they're going to do. And again, it probably won't happen, but this is my big bold prediction. That's what makes me think they're going to actually kick him out. And Finn's going to stay in as the heel. And probably, like you said, win the IC. Ooh, that would be
I'll take it if we get Demon Balor.
But he'll also win the IC
Demon.
title.
Give me Demon Balor at SummerSlam against Dom. I don't even care who wins. I would love to see Finn win, but I'm not mad at.
If he's coming out Demon, he's got to win.
Whoever, but like, yeah, I think so too.
Demon's got to go over. They need to make Demon feel big
Finn,
again.
man. Please do it.
Yep. We're up over an hour, so we got to talk about this because you mentioned Deadly Alliance earlier, Flanny, and man, I am all about it. We got 2 new Heyman guys, Paul Heyman guys, Seth Rollins and Bron Breakker, and my goodness, what a fucking team! What a squad that is.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be it.
No.
Oh, I don't think so
I know
either.
who the next person is. I think I know.
Oh, okay.
I have an idea.
I think it's somebody's wife.
I think so too.
Oh, okay.
That turn happened, and I'm just like, hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
I think it's going to be her.
Also, if you remember from the Dangerous Alliance, Medusa was in it.
Right.
So there was a woman.
That's why I think it's going to be her and then a tag team of some point.
Yep.
Because they're going to do the thing where all of them hold the belts.
Yeah, which I'm okay with.
100%.
Shout out to Seth, finally getting his due.
Can it please be the Profits?
I would love that.
Can it please be the
Oh,
Profits?
I would be so happy.
I
Can
actually
it
think
please?
it's gonna either
Imagine
be-
Montez Ford and Dawkins with fucking Paul Heyman.
Well, listen, it's not Vince, so
honestly,
they don't
Vince-
have to be, it doesn't have to be all white.
Well, that's
or all
what I'm
black
saying. And also, I didn't
anymore,
want to go there, but I'm like,
or
the fact
all
that you throw 2
Latino.
black guys in there too.
Yeah,
I mean Paul Heyman's got a little black in him. I mean, come on, he's got a little Samoan in him. He's got a little black in him. That man's a little bit of everything.
Yeah,
I mean, Seth's actual last name is Lopez.
yes,
so
yeah,
like,
he's a Spanish.
So like, it
come
fits.
on now.
Yeah, so
And Becky by
Right. But
So-
I honestly think it is either going to be them or the Motor City Machine Guns. If I had to pick the tag team, I think it's going to be one of those two
Oh,
teams.
the Profits would be incredible
give me the
in that
Profits.
faction.
I would prefer the
Give me the
Profits, but I
Profits.
think it's going to be one of those two
Because they've
teams.
teased the turn. I think the turn was supposed to happen. It didn't happen. But goddamn, that would be amazing with
Yeah.
Paul.
That would be absolutely incredible.
That would give me
And-
like early Harlem Heat
Yes.
type of vibes.
And
like-
Bianca getting some heat.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
like wanted heat, but she was getting some
Oh,
boos,
they
man.
They would try to boot her out the
I
building.
think she's
Yeah.
close to a heel turn.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
is. Because you can even tell, like, and those are the best turns, right? Where the crowd, like, kind of plants the seed, and you're like, okay, we're going to go with this. And you can tell at first, like, even in the build-up, they boot her every week. You could tell at first she was a little uncomfortable, but by
Yeah.
Mania, she was like, oh, fuck it, I'm leaning
Yeah.
into this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a fucking, imagine that stable? Those 6 with Heyman?
So now the question becomes: I know you mentioned Sammy being the potentially the one to take it off of Jey, but like Seth, I mean, and then,
But I could also see Seth being the one to take it off of Punk. If
Yeah,
Punk
yes,
takes it off of
100%.
Cena.
100%.
I could see Seth being
I think it's-
WWE.
I
Like,
think-
the
you
big
think,
one.
you can go
I think
WWE.
the next world title Seth have is
Especially
the,
now
is
that
the
he
big
has
one. Because he
Paul
already had
behind
that
him.
one.
That's the
Yeah,
other thing.
he's
Now
already
with
had
Paul
that one.
behind him, that's
Yeah.
going to feel like
Okay.
a step
Yeah.
down.
And he had
that's
that one recently, just
Right.
in the last
and then eventually, however long this
Yep.
storyline goes, it's going to be Bron and
Exactly.
Seth.
Right.
Yeah, because Bron could be what? Bron could be fucking. Imagine I don't think so. Imagine Bron has got one of them. And
I can
Seth's
see
got
that
the
too.
other
Oh,
one.
yeah, but
it
that's
could be
a
Bron who takes
possibility.
it from
That could
Jey
happen.
and
That's a
Seth
possibility.
takes
Jey.
it from.
So they
That's
got
definitely
both.
a
They got
possibility.
the tag. They got fucking. You could two where they could both have 2 women's belts. If
Right.
there is 2 women, if that happens, gets to that point, yeah, load them up with the gold, man.
Yeah.
Load
Yeah,
them up
no,
with the gold.
that would be so fire.
Load
And
'em
like
up.
that to me, Bron and Seth is like, I don't know why. It just feels like it works so
Does.
well,
Yeah.
with Paul Heyman behind them, especially.
And I think it's a perfect, like, what Seth excels at is what Bron has yet to excel at because it's just the longevity, the way he thinks it. And not that Bron doesn't, but then you just have just the sheer power and strength and just domination of I just got to bark at you. I'm going to say a word. Like, it's just perfect.
Who
and
was
then
it
you got Heyman there pulling all the puppet strings.
Who was it they tried to make a Heyman guy like?
Cesaro.
Cesaro. Yep, I remember that. Where that's because it was always like, oh, he's terrible on the mic, but that's when he won the Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
Yep,
and
the
then
inaugural one.
Shout out to Melo.
Yeah.
I'm hoping this is the beginning of a Melo push. I don't. Think
I hope so too.
Someone it was a perfect.
I feel like that's the kiss of death, isn't it?
That's my.
I know. It was a perfect, but because you said it was a perfect little side by side meme of like all the people who came up and like them being put with someone who's excelling, and like they had Lyra with Becky and they had Bron with Heyman, and then they showed the Miz with Melo, and like what the fuck? They were like, what the fuck did he do to piss off Triple H?
Yeah,
right.
And then of course one of the replies was like, he's just black, and I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
It's not helping the narrative.
It's not helping the narrative at all. It's been an interesting week because then on Monday night you had some surprise appearances. Stephanie Vaquer. I mean,
yes,
that was awesome.
That was awesome, and
moon,
I love her
she had a weekend,
wardrobe.
Dog. Oh god,
yeah,
fantastic.
It just goes further up and further up every week.
Shout out to
every
women.
Week, every week. I also love the slow, and apparently it's because Roxanne didn't catch the memo of the spot, so she was slow playing the kiss of death with the knees, and I'm like, I like the slow mo version.
Yeah, no, this is fine. This is really,
and I can't help but turn into Booker T every time.
Yeah, I mean,
she needs a different first name though.
Stephanie?
Yeah, it's the same as my mom's, and like that's not okay.
That's
not okay.
That's not okay.
I'm sorry, that's not okay.
But you made it through Stephanie McMahon.
True.
Yeah,
you can't say you didn't love those melons.
Yeah,
those things are still growing.
Yeah, no, yeah. She's been.
I was younger then. I don't think I put it together at that point.
Yeah.
Now it's like firmly in my brain, and I'm like, this is awkward for me.
Stephanie to me is getting hotter and hotter.
Yes,
I don't know what it is. She's just getting hotter. Yeah, she looks fantastic.
She got her dad out of her life.
That's what it is. Yeah, she's like aging backwards
now.
There's also just like actual joy in her eyes now.
Yeah.
Yes.
She stepped back and she seems happy.
That was interesting. Did you guys have any feelings about Trips mentioning Vince during the speech?
I don't think so.
I didn't feel any kind of way. I'm like, I feel like it kind of had to happen.
You can't ignore it.
You can't ignore it.
You know, like you can't pretend like and same thing with like, you know, I know a lot of people felt a certain type of way about Cena and how he feels about Vince. Vince changed his life.
I know,
100%.
John Cena,
those guys,
you know, like
Taker and Sean, and it's
like it's challenging. It's like a family member that is a piece of shit.
Yeah,
you know, there's a. I don't know. I mean, he's a really big piece of shit.
No, I know.
It's like, but
I
it's
think
like
there's varying degrees of it, but I cannot agree with it, and I can understand it.
Yeah.
I think that's the perfect way to understand it. I can understand why they feel this way.
It affects me in no way, shape, or form because the majority of the people that, not even just in professional wrestling, just things you enjoy. There's a reason how they get there, and a lot of times there's shitty things that happen.
Listen, there's a reason why they tell you not to meet your heroes.
Exactly.
But there's also like a big relationship there. Like I always remember, not to get into this person specifically, I just remember this person making the quote that like after Montreal, Brett said one of the worst things about that was the fact that Vince was basically like a second father to him. So it's like it really hurt that he would do that to me. And there's no way Brett's the only one who feels that way.
He said it many times in the documentary. Yeah.
I mean, think about it. That's
any top guy is they're gonna have that same, if not even stronger relationship.
And that was Brett was saying. He's like, he hurt so much that it was him who put the knife in my back. He's like, I've been in this. I grew up in this business. I know how this shit goes. He's like, but for him to do it after telling me up until the moment it happened, it wasn't going to happen. So yeah, that makes total sense why people feel that way. Yeah. It's no different than like you have a sports owner like a Jerry Jones, right? There's fucking guys who will cape for him all day, who used to play for him, right? And they might not have even had that same type of close relationship as like a Vince who you literally are working with, right? It's like a coach. It's like Belichick, right? Like you go there and you kind of you understand that.
Belichick was different because he's like he never had any allegations of criminal activity.
When you go to your press conference, you say this and you don't say that. Like you just become what you're, around. You might not adopt the traits of what they're doing in a dark room. Yeah. Right. Like look at Bill now. Like Shannon Sharp's a perfect example. I just tweeted this earlier. I'm like, not in any way, shape, or form or fashion am I saying Shannon Sharp is guilty of anything other than being a 56-year-old man and entertaining a 19-year-old. Yeah. Where did you think that was going to go?
How did you think that was going to go?
How did you think that was going to end up? Right? So, like, I think some people can say the same thing about Bill. Like, damn, you're out here dating this young girl and da-da-da-da. But, like, it's not illegal. So, if it's consensual, there's not much you can say. It might not look great, but... And also, that doesn't have any bearing on how he was to fucking... Well, maybe not Tom Brady's a good example, but how he was to the people who played for him. Like...
Yeah, no, it's true, and it's the old saying separate the art from the artist.
Yep.
And, you know, I know there's people that don't believe in that. And I think to an extent, you know, like, I don't listen to R. Kelly anymore. I don't even really like saying his name because of, like, how many lives he ruined of young women and girl, like, really young. And to me, that predatory, disgusting mindset is something that, like, I cannot condone. And, you know, there's another artist that's a big part of my life. Obviously, Mr. West, Kanye, Ye, whatever the hell he's going by now. Like, it's difficult sometimes to separate the art from the artist from him. But at the end of the day, you're just watching mental illness unfold in front of you. Yeah. There's been allegations, but there's been nothing behind any of them, to the point where now it's like, I don't even know what's real and what's not.
Right.
I'm not going to go out and be like, hey, you know, like, I love this guy, but, you know, I can listen to Graduation and still feel how I felt when I heard it in 07.
Right. And like you said, like,
I can watch WrestleMania 1 and, you know, in certain things like Hogan, like a lot of like, I can watch the turn at Bash at the Beach 96 and still fucking be like, holy shit, that was such a crazy moment.
I can watch WrestleMania 3 and still think him slamming Andre is like arguably still the biggest moment in the history of wrestling.
Like it's okay to go back to some of those moments and be like, yeah, that's how I felt. It still makes me feel a certain way, and also be like, it just sucks that person sucks. Like, it just really sucks.
We'll say too, it's so funny because I was thinking that documentary. I don't know if you guys saw it, the Spectacle WrestleMania 9 doc.
I haven't seen it.
It was good, and it's funny because it's just buries Hogan the whole time,
yeah.
which is so good because it's true. And it's just like, yeah, bro, like, time will also remember when you are an asshole, and it's very clear to see, and people can remember it. They're not gonna now, as time goes on, be like, well, you give him a pass. It's like people are gonna remember it. But also the thing is, like, and like you said a minute ago, it's like celebrities, but they're also human beings. So you probably have a Kanye West in your family, or you have God forbid you have a R. Kelly. Like, it's just, these are real people. So, like, a lot of people have that in their family, and like you said, might turn a blind eye because of X or Y or Z. Doesn't make it right, doesn't make it wrong. It's just what it is.
It's just the moral, you know. Everybody has different limits, you know, and everybody has. It's okay to enjoy something and the entertainment aspect of certain things in life, and also be like, yeah, but I also don't fuck with this person at all. You know, like that. It is okay to do that. And guess what? Professional wrestling, the majority of it, that's what it is. A lot of these people, it's very few in the industry, especially with the company that owns WWE now, like, they're in bed with a lot of people that maybe a lot of us don't support or like, you know. But at the end of the day, like, what are you going to do if you start to narrow it down, all of the people that are involved with people you don't like, and be like, well, now I can't associate with them? You're gonna be left staring at a fucking blank wall, you know, or drinking really fucking shitty coffee. And you know, like, because
it's hard. You know, like, this weekend was a perfect example of Roman and Trips in their comments. Like, did I love their comments about Trump? Absolutely not. Did I fucking hate that they came out and said that? Absolutely. Was I a little more like, yeah, Trips, that's what you get. You book some bad shit. That's what you get because of it? Sure. But, like, was it surprising? Probably not. Did I not think that maybe that was the case? Probably not. Like, am I going to now say, like, fuck Roman Reigns and everything he's done because he made them comments? No, it's just, it's what it is.
Right. It is what it is. And, yeah, I mean, that's really all it is to it. I just sometimes, and I'm thankful I've taken a large step back from, like, internet exposure, because I just get, sometimes I get sick of these moral high ground people that, like, every single thing is like nitpicking and this and that, and I'm like, come on, man. Like, at some point you have to be like, yep, this is what I believe. I can also watch that show and be like, this is a show.
Right.
This is entertainment. This is what is, you know, taking me away from the real world. And then when that camera light goes off and they're back behind the curtain, I can be like, yeah, I don't really fuck with that person.
Right.
You know?
It's like, I can watch The Sopranos and root for Tony Soprano because he's not a real person murdering people.
Yeah, exactly. Walter White. You know, we all want Heisenberg to make it out alive.
Right.
Speaking of that, Bobby just moved to Westerly.
Yeah.
You saw that, yeah. He's officially a Westerly resident.
Oh, I did see that. Yeah, that just came out today.
Steve Sharifka.
Yeah. I just was like, today it came out, I think.
Yeah, I think it's today, yesterday.
Rhode Island resident.
In the last couple of days. He said best meatballs of his life were from Wesley. So.
Westerly.
So good that he moved there. That's what he said.
Best meatballs of his life
Like he
in
was at some
Westerly?
restaurant, I forget which one it is, but he was like, "These are the best meatballs I ever had in my life." And then that was like 3 months ago. And now he's a Westerly resident, so he must have really
Damn.
liked them.
Really like those
Must have really liked-
meatballs.
I wish I had that kind of money where whenever I go and try food, I'd be like, "I'm gonna go move down the street."
Right.
I
'cause
know,
I got
right?
my favorite food for the rest of my life.
That'd be lit.
That'd be fucking awesome. to feel like
Yeah. So that's a lot going on there. What
So much good shit, man.
Rusev's back.
Rusev, and that was a perfect return.
That was
They
awesome.
booked that absolutely perfect. It was great. It looked good. All the way to like the New Day getting out of there, and like it was good. That I'm not excited for that title reign. Hopefully it's a short one with them. But yeah, Rusev's back. Who else came back? Was that it?
Well, Sammy technically came back.
Becky, Sammy.
Becky came back
Yeah,
the night
Becky was
before.
back. They dropped the belts back, of course.
Right.
Aleister Black, maybe Friday.
Probably
Yeah.
Friday.
At time of recording tomorrow night.
Makes sense. Should be Friday. Who else?
Especially because his wife's on SmackDown.
Yes,
so like
exactly.
Right.
And all the vignettes have been right as she's been in the ring or coming
Right.
to the ramp. Was Jeff Cobb another rumor? I saw a lot of Jeff Cobb rumors during WrestleMania.
I know his
weekend.
New
I
Japan
didn't even
contract's
know-
up, but I don't
Yeah.
think, and it's like expected that he'll sign with WWE, but I don't know if he's officially
Yeah,
signed
I don't think
yet.
he's there yet. but-
Shout out to Joe Hendry.
Yes.
Yes,
Shout out to Joe Hendry.
That was so cool.
awesome.
I was I'm not gonna lie. I was really hoping for Nick Aldis. I thought maybe Nick Aldis. I was really hoping for Nick Aldis, but
I actually-
My
love
brother
Joe
said
Hendry.
Batista.
That would have been kind of
That would have
funny.
been great.
Especially
Because you couldn't
after,
be there the night before.
That's what-
Oh
well,
my god.
I was
I would have
thinking
really stuck
especially
into
after-
Triple H.
Especially after Triple H and Roman's Trump comments. Then Batista then shows up at Mania.
But then also he was like, Batista, I really wanted Batista to be here at the Hall of Fame, and he couldn't
Right.
make it. He was like literally the only person in the world not
Right.
there. I'm like, yeah, we know how these guys really
Yeah.
feel.
But I actually thought that's what Rusev was going to return, was in the Orton
Yeah,
match.
that would have been dope.
But
Yeah.
Joe Hendry was a way
Oh
better
my God,
option.
pop the shit
Awesome.
out of me.
100% perfect
It
option.
was so cool because it was one of the few things during that actually could like also pop my wife because she fucking knows Joe Hendry because
It's a great song.
Walk around the house all day and say that. But yeah, that was money.
Yeah.
And it was perfectly booked, and I loved. And Joe Hendry said it on I think Busted Open, where he was like, people were telling me like, no, that was a perfect way. Like it wasn't a burial, it wasn't this. It was like, no, you just got a rub from Orton.
Yeah.
You're the TNA champ. You're still leaving with your gold, and he did your shtick at the end.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
there's no better and literally patted you on the chest.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
no
yeah.
better way for you to have a moment. Like that's just a perfect moment, and I love that he embraced it and ran with it. And like,
I love that
Yeah.
people were mad about it besides Joe Henry.
yeah,
Right.
I
Like
know.
he was the
Like-
only. He was like,
So stupid.
no, that
Like,
was
did
amazing.
people think they were going to go 20 minutes and 6 false
Right.
finishes? Like, what did you think was
He
gonna
tweeted,
happen?
"I just had a WrestleMania match with Randy Orton."
Yeah.
Right.
Like that's
hello?
fucking insane.
That's fucking-
You know, like if you talk about a year ago, around this time is like when his songs started to really pop
Yep.
up, and people started, and then all of a sudden they were using his graphic on
Yep.
Raw randomly, and NXT popped
And
up.
there was
Or-
also, I guess, there was a callback to I think 20 years ago to the date or the weekend where I think Triple H beat Taz at Mania. Taz was like a surprise, and he was the current ECW champ. So it also had a nice little callback touch.
Yeah. That's
But
cool.
and you just needed Orton to be out there.
Right.
I lost in the shuffle that it was 20-year anniversary of him in Mania.
Yeah.
So like leading up to the build, I'm like, does he have to wrestle on Mania? He doesn't have to. But then in hindsight, I'm like, yeah, he had to.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
And
He
that was the
wanted to.
perfect way to do it. It
Yeah,
was
yeah.
so good. It's so well done.
Also, like, everybody's shitting on how they buried Joe Hendry, but, like, think of the amount of actual legends that can't say they had a WrestleMania match with Randy Orton.
That's what
Oh,
I'm saying.
yeah, of
Like,
course.
Or he
So
had
he
a-
already gets to say that.
And there's tons of great wrestlers that didn't even have a WrestleMania match.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way. And then of course, now knowing what we're gonna see with him and Cena, it wouldn't have made sense to have anybody
Right.
else out there. Like that was the perfect person of this is a one-off, and that's it.
Yep.
For now, hopefully, who knows? Hopefully, in a year or two, we can get a real
Right.
match with them. But
Definitely. Overall, good weekend. Jacob Fatu. I
Yeah,
think
deserved.
him and Dom winning the
Poor
same
LA
weekend,
Knight, man.
getting gold the same weekend to
Yeah.
me is a perfect like.
it was.
That's your next generation right there.
Jacob
That's
Fatu is going to be a world champion in
100%.
5 years.
I say less.
If 5 years at max.
Yeah.
low key not the only reason. The main reason why I want a Bloodline Dangerous Alliance because I want Braun Breaker versus Jacob Fatu.
Yeah,
Oh
that'd be
my
fucking
god,
awesome.
yeah, that'd be fucking
I want
amazing.
that. Like-
But they can still just do that.
Yeah.
I think Jacob Fatu is a
That's gonna be
star.
That's good. That's gonna be a WrestleMania main
Dom
event.
is also
That
going to be a world champion.
WrestleMania main, yes.
And
I
Yo,
could
shout out
honestly
to
see
Dom,
Dom
man.
winning Money in the Bank this year.
Why not?
That'd be sick.
At this point, you put the.
Oh
you
my
put-
God.
You
Like,
put
Dom's
the next
closer
biggest
than
belt.
Jacob Fatu is, I think, to be
Yeah,
a world
oh
champion.
no, I
Yep.
agree with that. Definitely agree with that. Definitely agree with
100%.
that.
No,
'Cause
yo, kudos to Dom, man.
Jacob Fatu is going to dominate the mid card
Yes.
for
Yes.
the next year probably.
Yeah.
and there's so much you can do with him
Oh,
there.
yeah.
He's not young, but
And
he's
him getting
still
the U.S.
learning,
title's
doing so
perfect
many
because he
things.
still
Yes.
can go achieve the IC.
Yep.
That's where also where if they want to keep doing long reigns, do long mid card reigns.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That would also feel better.
Elevate the
Because
mid card.
look
Exactly.
at the Gunter script.
Right.
Yep.
Exactly.
That you can kind of follow that same script.
But the
throughout,
IC
like-
title, I mean, I guess Bron
Braun helped.
helped
Yeah,
it
yeah.
for sure. But like after Gunther, I felt like
Sammy having it was, as much as I love Sammy, that felt like the step down.
Yep.
Yeah, that definitely.
I always felt like that should have been Chad Gable, and especially now seeing what he's doing as the El Grande Americana. Well, whoever El Grande
Whoever
Americana
that
is. Like, he absolutely should have been the one who beat Gunther.
Speaking of which, shout out to Ray Phoenix.
Yes.
Oh, hell yeah.
In a pinch, less than 24 hours, I'm throwing you in, or assuming kayfabe, but at least, but I think really, just throw him in there at the last. Like, I know Ray was really hurt. I don't know when he got hurt.
On
SmackDown.
SmackDown.
He got hurt on
He got
SmackDown.
hurt
So
on
like for
SmackDown.
him to get thrown in there
His
24
ankle,
hours,
right?
just
Yeah.
being in the company for a couple weeks, and he had a great. They had a great match. They
Yeah.
had a great.
And
I mean,
they
Chad
protected
Gable.
him.
I mean, Chad Gable got a great match with us.
Yes.
He's fucking amazing.
They protected him too
They
by
did.
emphasizing
Yes.
like, oh, the metal plate in his mask or whatever it was.
No, it was well
his,
done, man.
On a
In his
Yeah,
when
in his
he
mask.
fixed his
Yeah.
Because they did the whole, he kicks his face
Yeah,
and he like
and
broke
then
his
they
Yeah,
did,
foot.
like
yeah.
the glancing headbutt.
Yeah.
It was so well done. Him and Penta for their first appearances tore down, and then Bron like. The not the only way, but like perfect. You dropped the belt and you were elevated at the same time.
at the same time.
Like
Yeah.
when does that ever happen?
Very
like that
rare.
is a perfect mix of you have someone like a Heyman you can put him with, and someone like Bron who's just an enigma, and that's how you can drop a belt and still elevate. It was perfectly done.
Because
Yeah.
now that you've also said that about maybe Braun and Seth could each have the WWE and World, like Braun feels like he's above the IC title.
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Oh,
he does.
definitely. Yeah, for sure.
100%. You just
Like, even
you
if
just put him with that group, it's
Right?
like, okay,
But even
main
like
event.
even before that,
yeah, I
it still
agree, I
felt like
agree.
he was that next step up, and now
Yep.
it feels even more
Yep.
like that.
I
Oh,
agree.
now he's definitely there. He's
Yeah.
he's definitely with that faction to be more than just Seth's muscle.
Yeah, he's not.
100%.
Yeah, 100%.
Like they're gonna put some gold on him.
Yes.
Yeah, and I saw a couple people thinking different because they showed the clip of them coming out and Seth is coming back through the curtain. Excuse me, I think Seth was like control and Heyman said something and then Braun just barked and I'm like, yeah, but what was he gonna say there?
Yeah.
Right. Like there wasn't time for him to say anything. Like we know he can talk if he needs to.
Yeah.
Right? It's not that he can't talk, but yeah, he's gonna 100% be more than muscle.
Yeah, they oh man.
That's gonna be fun. I can't wait to see that develop and who joins and who they feud.
Were they both on Raw?
I know Braun
before
was.
this. You mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, they both were. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Does the
Yeah.
brand split even fucking
know,
matter?
it does-
anymore?
it does-
Like, they're
it
on-
that was my
It doesn't.
question. Is
It
like
doesn't.
that
Now,
would
like
be,
everybody shows, so
It
I don't
doesn't,
even know who's on
that
what
would be
anymore.
your
the
easy
whole
way
the
to
last
have
month
them.
it's all been out the window. But
Right.
no, Seth and Braun were both on Raw. They
All
were.
right.
They
that
were
was
on
going to
Raw.
be my point. Was like, yeah, I agree
It's all
with
out
that.
the window, especially
It doesn't-
now after Mania. It's all going to
Right.
shit, which it will until the draft. But
But that's your easy way to get Heyman on TV twice a week and have
Yep.
your world heavyweight champion on Raw and your your
Which they
universal
could still
champion.
do with the draft if they could. I don't think they should now that they just put them together, but they could theoretically split them up.
I also just
I
hate
hate the draft. Get rid of it.
I hate the
I
draft.
get rid
I
of
hate
it.
the brand
Completely agree.
split. I hate
Get rid
having
of
two
it.
world
Yeah.
titles. I
Especially
hate
because
it.
they're not leaning into the brand split.
Exactly.
It's like,
yeah.
it's like it's a brand
what
split, but not really.
Yeah. There's nothing. There's nothing that makes it that.
And like Aldis and
Pierce.
Pierce have been great in their
Very-
roles.
yes.
You can keep them with that even if
Yeah.
you merge
You
the
can,
brands.
100%. Yeah.
Like
Aldis
you're
and
just in
Pierce
charge
have
of
been
SmackDown,
amazing.
you're in charge of Raw.
Yeah, it's just I hate when they do it, and I know they do it to kind of as like a reset and refresh, but just stop with the two
No.
fucking titles. Stop. It to me, it will always feel like a 1A and 1B,
Yeah.
or sometimes even like a 1-2. Like and now you make
I think it's a 1-2. And
Absolutely.
again, we talk about it when you got your big logo on one of them. And the other one is about this big. Yeah, you're telling everyone what they need to know. Like,
Right.
Doesn't even matter who's holding it.
Well, that's the
It
other
did,
thing, though.
yeah,
When
it
you look
does,
at
but, yeah,
when you look at
historically,
Cody
yeah,
Rhodes
exactly,
is the one
exactly.
holding it, and as much as I love him, Gunther's the one holding it. Like
Or
there's
even
a
now
big
Jey.
gap between
Yeah,
the two of
it's
them.
I don't get why you can't just have, and I've never understood this. Why? And I think it used to be like this a little bit. Just have your tiers. Like your tier 1 guys are all going for the universal title. It can change hands more than once a year.
Yep.
Have all of your tier 2 guys going for the IC title, or your tier 3 guys go for the US title. It's that simple.
And I also think too, like along those same lines with the brand split, like when you got someone on a heater, like Dom was been on a heater, and it's like, all right, we're putting the belt in Dom at Mania because he's been on a heater. When you don't have a brand split, it's easier to deviate. Whether there's an injury, whether someone's on a heater and you want to put the belt on him now, and you don't know, like when you have the brand split, you're now pigeonholing yourself to say, damn, this guy works, but he can't take the belt from the guy on this show, but he probably could take the belt from the guy on that show, but that can't happen. Like you're just pigeonholing yourself for no reason.
Just have your
you
tiers.
get nothing in return. Like this is definitely a Dwayne Johnson idea. What the fuck?
Book your
No, this was
shows.
a Vince idea.
I know.
Book your shows in order
What's
of
Yeah,
the
at
difference?
that point, yeah.
book your shows in order of the card, in order of your tiers. I've never understood why they don't just fucking do that. Like, okay, maybe you want to start your show hot. It's 3 hours long. You want to bring out your world title, scene, your tier 1 guys to start the show, and then boom, your first match should be your guys, that are more likely to vie for the US title, and then your middle to late end of the show is IC, and then your main event guys are at the end. Like towards the end. I don't know. it seems way simpler in my mind.
Until 2025.
I just think it's because they have like 4,000 people on the roster, so they try to give as much airtime as they can.
Work your way up, you know?
But if you have the
how do you work
same
your way up
amount
if
of
you're not getting
showtime,
airtime?
if you have the same amount of showtime
but you have
across
two
the two shows,
yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. But like, if you're putting everybody on both shows, why would you not put Cody on Raw and SmackDown?
it should just
less airtime for somebody else.
Yes,
It should just be interchangeable.
I agree with you. I'm just saying I think that's the one
Yes.
pro for
that makes sense.
a
But
brand
there's still a
split
way
that gets more
to do
people
it,
more
especially when
airtime.
you got a fucking 3-hour SmackDown.
That's the thing.
You got a Raw where you can do whatever you want with it. Please keep it at 2.5, but you can do whatever you want. So there's a way to do it, but
Yeah, it's
we'll see. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if the draft went away sooner rather than later, just because of where
possible.
TKO is going with everything.
about
I wouldn't be
time.
But
surprised.
it's also a nice thing they can like advertise and make it look like
it's
a thing.
It's very
so-
much a marketing thing.
right.
yeah.
Especially when they do it around this time of year
Yes.
to coincide with the NFL draft.
yep.
Like
Yep.
they
Tonight.
vibe together.
Shit.
Yeah, and like
5 minutes.
Forgot about that. 5 minutes.
Yeah, I think it starts at 8.
I saw first pick's not till 8:30.
Oh,
Jeez, we are flying by. Well, anyways, we're at about an hour and a
yeah.
half. Anyways, any big things that we missed? One thing.
Yeah, WWE bought Triple H.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that was crazy.
Fucking
that
what?
was wild.
Yeah, that
Like-
was.
I know.
What?
So some
420
people.
Khan.
Yeah.
Some people
he's
not
more
happy.
CMLL guy.
But I was gonna say I think he ruined that relationship a long time ago.
Some people not happy about it. I saw some people like iffy about it. I think it's great.
The only part I'm unhappy about is if the rumor is true that they're thinking of changing the name to NXT Mexico.
No,
You fucking keep
Really?
Triple A.
don't do
That's an
that.
established
yeah,
name.
that's
Don't do
no,
that.
you can't do that.
That
It's the
would-
second big. It's one of the. It's
that would definitely rub
one
a
of
lot
the two
people
biggest
wrong. Yeah,
promotions in
it's so
Mexico. Why the fuck are you
historic,
gonna change
yes.
the name?
That would be stupid.
Right. That'd
But-
be like if they all of a sudden start calling WWE NXT America.
I know.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
You're not gonna fucking change the
I
name.
know. You're
Don't-
gonna go have an NXT
and-
Canada?
I will say there's no guarantee that
makes
that's
no sense.
true. That was just a rumor
Oh,
I
yeah,
saw.
that'd be
So
dumb.
take it with a grain of salt. But
I think it'll be great
that
though.
better just be
I
a
think it's gonna be
fucking
dope.
rumor.
I'm excited. I think June 7th, Worlds
June 7th,
Collide.
Worlds
Yeah,
Collide.
but it's Worlds Collide in the afternoon,
And then Money in-
the
no,
not back.
I think it is Money in the Bank at night.
Is it? It is. It is
Yeah.
Money in the Bank. Yes,
That's a
because
day.
they're at
Both in LA.
Both in
One's
LA.
in the
One-
Kia Forum and the other's
yes,
in
Kia
the,
Forum is Worlds Collide, and then Into a Dome for the big main event. Yeah, that's gonna be a fucking great day. I'm already thinking of some of the, like even seeing Vikingo on
Right.
fucking WWE television was kind of crazy.
Dude, I think
Yeah.
we're getting Vikingo versus El Grande Americano at Worlds Collide.
That'd be lit.
Sign
It's
me
actually gonna be a
up.
fucking
They've
incredible
been
match.
building towards it.
Did you guys notice? Because I'm sure you noticed that the whole Gulf of America thing rubbed a lot of people the wrong way.
Yes.
I'm sure even the AAA people, and they quickly pulled that back.
Yes.
But then accidentally, I don't know if it was the new announcer, who I love, by the way.
Yeah,
Mark
yeah,
Nash.
he's
I
cool.
fucking love.
He's great.
I loved him in boxing. I love him. I think he fits.
Yeah.
I think he accidentally said it, and McAfee were like, whoa, nope, we misspoke. It is the Gulf of Mexico.
Right.
That is not what we meant to say. I was
Yep.
like, yeah, they turned around on that one quick.
Yeah.
Probably knowing this deal was at the finish line. We can't fuck it up, but.
I'm also thinking this isn't the only one.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised.
They're gonna wait a bit because you don't want to like.
I
take the
could see
rose
them
off
going
this
to Europe
bloom,
and
but I think in
having
a
their
few
own
months
little
we're gonna
farm
hear
system.
that they bought TNA, and I think in a few months from that we're gonna hear maybe Pro Wrestling Noah.
Oh wow!
I think they're gonna buy one in
would be-
Japan
That
at
would
least
be
too.
crazy.
That'd be lit.
Because they do.
the
That's what they
TNA
partner with
thing,
all the
like
time
I
anyway.
Yeah.
could see the TNA thing already being done.
Yeah, I think
Like
it's
I
done.
could
They're
have
just
seen it
waiting to
being
announce
done
it.
when they laid off all the people they laid off and
Yes.
brought in a new regime. I totally can see that have been Nick Khan and all those folks pulling those strings 100%. No, it would be dope. I wouldn't be surprised to see them go to Europe somewhere
That's possible.
and get a couple little farm systems going there, because then now your feeders are even better. Imagine you have these same pops with our stars, but then you got a couple homegrown stars
Yeah.
who are like still there who you can put in the mix. That wouldn't
Or
surprise
they may
me.
even just try to bring back NXT UK.
Oh yeah, which I was amazing. I'm still
Yeah.
sad to this
I mean,
day that
it
it
would.
left.
It'd probably still be going if it wasn't for the
Yeah,
pandemic.
I miss Mustache
One of the best
Mountain,
belts
man.
in the last 15 years.
such a
That
beautiful
was,
belt.
that was amazing.
Beautiful
all of them
belt.
were.
Yeah.
The men's, the women's, the tag. They were
Yeah.
all.
Yeah, they were all
beautiful
gorgeous.
There was
belts.
some. I mean, Rhea held that belt at one
Yeah.
point. Like
Yep.
there was some stars who were there. It was fun.
Gunther held the.
Yep.
Pete
When
Dunne.
he was fat.
Pete Dunne.
When he was fat.
When he was fat.
Walter.
Walter.
It's
Yeah, I was gonna say
actually-
Walter.
If you watch his his run as champion, you see him start to
Yeah,
lose weight.
Yeah.
That's what happened. Yeah, because I was locked in, man. When
Yeah.
Mustache Mountain was fucking running shit, and because I remember that's when a lot of those guys. That was when I first saw them and
Yep.
heard about them, and I was like, this is great. I love this. It's gonna be fun. It should be fun.
Tyler Bate, right? Was he?
Tyler
Yeah,
Bate.
Tyler
He
Bate,
was
yep.
the inaugural
Yeah.
NXT UK
Yeah.
champion.
He was the one.
I feel like there's so much, but
That's
that
what
was.
happens when you don't
Yeah,
do it for
you're sure-
5 weeks.
Yeah.
or so.
Got back
no,
in, man. We
it's-
got back in.
it's gonna
like
be-
riding a bike.
It's
That's
gonna
right.
be, and I'm hoping. We're working on shit. All right, we're working on things. All right, just cut us some damn slack.
Yeah.
Fellas, this was fun as hell.
It was.
Always.
I am excited for what's to come. I'm also excited for the NFL draft tonight.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
excited
Go
for that.
Birds.
So, yes. Oh, fuck.
It's crazy when you win a Super Bowl. You don't really.
Yeah,
even pay
whatever,
Like, I
man.
forgot the draft was today. I don't know.
I'm actually more nervous for the Devils game tomorrow night because they
That-
haven't looked
that
great
makes
so far.
sense. That makes
They
sense.
look better in game 2, but
Well, at least you have a
they,
playoff
they,
game.
they
Yeah.
still need to play better.
I have.
Meanwhile, my team is 9
You
years.
just watched your team win the Super Bowl. Like,
Yeah,
I know.
dude, I want to
We're
hear it,
just
man.
talking
Fuck,
hockey.
fuck
We're
these
just
guys.
talking hockey. I mean, come on.
I haven't gotten to experience a team I root for win a championship since 2009. It's been a long
I would
fucking
rather
time.
I would rather be the Devils and not the Niners, just because that would mean that my Eagles probably lost to your Niners on the way. So I don't want that.
Oh,
That's
that's fair.
fair.
That's a
I don't
fair
want-
That's
assessment.
fair. I
I
respect
don't want
that.
that. Take the Flyers.
I would rather too because it means they'll win it this year.
Yeah,
and I can enjoy
that's
it.
true. That's true.
Like, subscribe, share, tell your friends.
Do it. We're back. Tell them we're back.
We're back. The boys are back, bitch.
See you in 8 weeks this
Yeah.
time.
8,
No, no, no.
5 double at
fucking-
10.
We're building
10
a new
weeks.
dangerous alliance. Around
Yeah,
here.
exactly.
We're back, baby.
Peace.